Welcome to the race.
And the lights are out. Great start then.
The Moto2 champion steps into the team that's dominating the championship.
I'm Scott Mitchell from the race. We're here at Barcelona.
Sebastian Vettel is fighting for his career.
There has to be a title assault, and anything less will be a failure.
Oh, and a spin!
We lost the GoPro.
Welcome to the race. You are watching Super GT. After months of delay due to the worldwide pandemic, Japan's and perhaps the world's finest motor racing championship is back. For the Takanoko Hotel Fuji GT 300 kilometers race, the opening round of the Super GT Championship. And here is the starting grid. Nick Cassidy in the number 37. Keeper Tom Supra is on pole alongside the Arta NSX driven by Nire Fukuzumi. Debut Tom Supra, first of the second of the brand new Supras. 36th position run by Tom's, and fourth position is the Raybrick NSX. Third in car 38 is in fifth position, the Zent Supra. Alongside that, another brand new Toyotas in sixth position is the Zent car. I think finally in that moment. Kohei Hirati, number 3, Nissan is seventh position. Alongside the Red Bull the ninth position is the Keihin NSX. In 10th position is the Motul Ismo Protect. Way off. About that. Keep on running that. In 11th, 12th position is the didn't realise Jann Mardenborough not too happy in that picture.
So looking at the GT300 grid, we have the 18 champions, the Leon AMG on pole position from the Gainer Tanax GTR. Third up, the Apple Lotus, the Cintium Apple Lotus, followed by that new V8 Toyota Supra. Prius lines up fifth with the GT86 in P6. 7, the sister car, the very similar the similar Subaru BRZ, before the first of the Lexus, the GT3 Lexus in P8. P9, another Nissan GTR before the Lamborghini lines up in 10th. The Gainer Tanax Nissan GTR in 11th before the Up Garage NSX in P12. Beautiful D-Station Aston Martin Vantage GT3 car lines up in 13th. Hopefully they'll have a lucky race, followed by the second of the Lexi, the Cintium RCF. The Studi BMW M6 is 15th. The Hoppy Porsche GT3 RS is 16th. Modulo Kendo Honda NSX 17th. Hatsune Miku AMG lines up in 18th. The first of the Audis, an all Audi 10th row in 19th and 20th before the second Lamborghini in 21st. The reigning champions, the Arta NSX, lines up in 22nd. 23rd, they just keep coming. The Yokohama Shod Lexus before the second MC86, lining up in 24th. Another Nissan GTR, 25th. Toyota GR Sport Prius, 26th. Another of Falterbach's finest in 27th, another AMG GT3. Before the run-up Nissan 28, lining up on the final position of our GT300 grid, the Arnage AMG GT3. Track conditions and weather considerably better than they were for free practice and qualifying. A scorchio 26 degrees air temperature and a track temperature of 39, as you can see. Not too humid at only 58%. But the Fuji weather has been as troublesome as it normally is. Perching a motor racing circuit on the side of a mountain, it has been a bit foggy. So riding on board now in one of the Lexus GT300 cars as we come down to turn one. Braking late, braking hard for 27R. We then come into a long, fast right-hander that leads down to Coca-Cola corner at turn 3. Medium speed, wide left, turning in now. Taking lots of curb at both apex and exit, and then coming round. This is a terrific corner. 4, 5, and 6 forming one super long right-hand sweep before coming into a left-hand hairpin, turning in now. Again, curb use here is critical. Diving down towards the 3rd sector now. This is a long downhill right down towards Dunlop corner. Braking late, braking hard. Now the circuit of Fuji changes in character here. We have a much tighter final section. First the left hairpin, then a medium right, then another tight right here, and then the tight corners just keep on coming, climbing up back towards Panasonic corner now, which forms the final turn of our lap. We go first hard left, then hard right into Panasonic corner itself. Looking for a really clean drive here out onto the 1,475 meter long pit straight. Sam, that's a lap of the Fuji Motor Speedway. Are you there?
I am not at Fuji Speedway, but I am watching, and that is the Takanoko no U RCF Lexus. That is sponsored by the sponsor of this race, and it is great to see a lap of Fuji Speedway in a GT300 car. And there are a lot of new cars for us to talk about during this race. We've got 2 new types of Toyota Supra, but all of the GT500 cars are brand new. Even though the Nissan GTR looks just the same as the old one, it is actually a different car. New monocoque, new suspension, new aerodynamics, and some new driver lineups. That's going to be something we'll take a look at in a moment. As the pit crews get ready for the national anthem, we take a look at that Lexus we just rode on board with. Natty little paint job on that. And just before we went to Fuji Speedway, I decided to have a chat with the driver of the realised GTR, Jann Mardenborough. Let's hear what he had to say about the Winter Series.
Mardenborough, Jann, welcome to Super GT 2020. It's been a bit of a long time coming, and we've got various bits and pieces to discuss. But first of all, how are you?
I'm good, healthy, negative on tests. Yeah, all good. It's been the longest time out of the car since I've started racing, and I think that's the same for everybody. And I am gassed for this weekend. I can't wait.
It's going to be fantastic, but it's quite a different weekend because every single GT500 car is new. Now, I know the Nissan GTR kind of looks the same as last season, but it's a completely new, it's a new monocoque, new suspension, new bodywork, new aero, revised engine. There's a lot of new stuff going on there. Now, you've driven the car in testing, you've been at Okayama, you've been at Fuji Speedway testing, but how does it compare to last year's car? Tell us what's different.
So the suspension components are common parts. So all 3 manufacturers using the common parts, Class 1 regulations, same as DTM. And this changes the way the car handles completely, the way the car's set up. So within my team, Car 24 Condor Racing, we use the Yokohama tyre. And this year, it seems to have shifted in our direction, really. It's the car is lighter on the tyre, so the tyre doesn't get as overloaded as much. There's less energy going into it, which seems to, from testing anyway, seems to have given us a real good feeling, really good balance. I've had the best balance I've had in the GTR 500 car since, well, ever, since joining in 17. And yeah, it's the engines, they're different as well. Everything is improving. Our aero as well, is, it's different. If we look at the car from this year to last year, slightly different. And Yeah, it's a very different car to drive, completely different feeling. Nothing's really relevant from last year, to now. So and that's the same for all three manufacturers, for the other two as well, within with Toyota and Honda.
The calendar this year is quite different to previous. We're not getting the flyaway races. You've always gone quite well in Thailand, for example. That's not on the calendar this year, unfortunately. Nor is Malaysia, which was about to make its return with the night race. Lots of races at Fuji Speedway. We're going to Suzuka as well, and of course, one of your other favourite tracks, Motegi. How do you feel about this new calendar? Is it in your favour, or is it not so much?
Don't know really. I'm just glad to go racing. Fuji going there 4 times is cool. You don't really get bored of going 300 kilometers an hour down the pit straight. Motegi, I mean, it's cool, I guess. But going to Suzuka a few times is mega. Never turn down Suzuka. Sector 1 is amazing. So yeah, only 3 races, 3 different tracks anyway for this season. I can understand why, these circuits, the other circuits, they're privately owned and with no fans, it's impossible for them to make a business proposition by, hosting no fans, but hosting Super GT. So, yeah, I'm glad we're just racing and we've got an 8 race calendar, albeit at 3 racetracks.
Aside from Pembrey, which track are you most going to miss this season?
Suga.
Yeah, I think the fans are going to say the same as that. Jann, thanks for chatting, and we're going to hear from you a lot through this season, and it's been great to see how you get on at Fuji Speedway this weekend.
Cool. Cheers, guys. Ciao.
And that was one of the key things about this year's Super GT Championship. Some of the tracks that we plan to go to are not on the schedule. So Fuji Speedway is the home of the series really this year, but we also got trips to Suzuka and Motegi, Rob.
We haven't, and no trips planned to Pembrey, Sam. No. Oh, so no trips planned to Pembrey. As you mentioned, all the races this year are in the Kanto and Chubu regions. They're 2 regions of Japan that are very close together. That's just going to minimize the travel for the teams. And as Jann was saying, no spectators, Sam, for the first 4 rounds. If things continue to improve as they have been doing, we'll be seeing spectators back here at Fuji on October the 3rd. But until then, the character of Super GT changes. But hey, it's great to be back, and it's great to be commentating on live motorsport. So we're going to cut to a car slideshow coming right up. Hopefully Sam will talk over it.
There are 2 different types of car, as I mentioned, in Super GT. The GT500 cars with all carbon fibre monocoques powered by 2-litre turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engines, kicking about 700 brake horsepower out. These cars are super fast. They look like GT cars, but they're really sports prototypes, and they are absolutely the fastest cars in GT racing, about the same speed round Fuji Speedway as an old Audi R10. R18 rather. This is the first time the current breed of GT500 cars have been on track in a competitive environment. They replaced the old generation of cars. That's why you see a front-engined Honda NSX, something we haven't seen before. And you get that beautiful Red Bull Mugen Honda paint job along W's. The Honda, which won last year's championship in GT300, 2 championships, of course, in Super GT, and cars like the Lamborghini. And that's only being run by J-Lock. Of course, there's some Japanese GT3 cars as well, like the Lexus. And then you've got the Mercedes, Hatsune Miku, the very popular Good Smile racing car. Gainer Tanax GTR. Bring up, well, Nissan have got a lot of GTs in this field, where the Hoppy 86, though, has been replaced by a Porsche. But you've also got the JAF GT300 cars. These are production cars that have been so heavily modified, it's almost beyond recognition. You have the Subaru BRZ, the Toyota Prius, which you can see on the screen at the moment, as well as the brand new Toyota Supra. That still uses road car parts, but it's very powerful. Then you've got the mother chassis cars, which have got single carbon fibre monocoque, shaped like a road car. We'll talk a little bit more about them and their V8 power in the race. Well, looking at the starting grid, it is great to see the sun shining at Fuji Speedway. I have to say, I did not expect these weather conditions, and nor did many of the drivers. Some of them were telling me they were fearing the wet weather. Others, like Jann Mardenborough, were very much looking forward to the wet weather.
Being perched precariously on the side of Mount Fuji as we are, Sam, as we see the 5-minute board go up. Yeah, you're right. Cloudy conditions and misty conditions often prevail. So superb to see that heat haze over the starting grid as we get ready for the national anthem.
Well, it was quite interesting this morning as we were talking about the weather conditions. It was raining very heavily in the lead up to the cars getting ready to go. As the national anthem is being announced by the announcer at the track, it should be about to start. So we'll pause for the Japanese national anthem. It feels like coming home. The Japanese national anthem plays out across Fuji Speedway ahead of the first round of the 2020 Super GT Series. But there's a lot of rounds to come. 2 races at Fuji Speedway open the calendar, followed by Suzuka. Then again, Suzuka hosts the round, then back to Motegi, season round out 8 rounds at Fuji Speedway. Sadly, no visits to Metropolis, Okayama, or Sportsman Sugo, as well as Thailand and Malaysia. That is due to the crisis facing everybody around the world. But it is great to see racing back in Japan. No spectators at the track, unfortunately, for that's for obvious reasons. But look at that grid. I think everybody needs a great photo. And what a show it is with these brand new 500 cars leading the field.
Everybody's been talking about the pace of the Hondas, Sam, in pre-season testing. But look, it's one of those Toyota Supras that lines up on pole position. The breakdown of the cars in GT500, remember, we've got 15 of them in total. 6 of the new Toyota Supras, 5 Honda NSXs, and 4 of the Nissan GTRs. As Sam was saying earlier, the Nissan GTRs, they look visually very, very similar to the GT500s that we've seen before, but they are a brand new car. The orange Honda there on 2nd position on the grid. Remember, the engine for that car is now in the front. All these cars now are front engine, 2-litre, 4-cylinder turbocharged cars producing 500 brake horsepower. Large tyres from 4 different manufacturers. It's a tyre war series, so all the tyre manufacturers trying to outdo each other, and huge aero. And it'll be great to see them as they compete around the 3 kilometers today.
オートバックススーパー GT シリーズの開幕を宣言いたします。
Cheers, Mr. Orange Jacket. Right back at you. I've missed him. Well, I've missed doing anything, to be honest, but I've really missed Mr. Autobacks. In the words of Waldorf and Statler, it's nice to be back heckling. It's nice to be back doing anything. Missed her. I'm missing Sam a little bit as well, to be honest. Sam, are you back yet?
I think I am, yeah. Well, I think you probably have been missing her. That you say 500 horsepower firing up on the starting grid right now, Rob. Those GT500 cars have got far more than that. The GT300 cars have got not shy of 500 horsepower. Just think about that 5.3-litre V8 engine in the Toyota Supra, the brand new JAF GT300 Supra, run by the Green race team. That would be great to see making its race debut as the warm-up lap is about to get going. But looking at pole position, the champions from 2 years ago, Nick Cassidy, or 3 years ago actually, Cassidy and Hirakawa in the keeper Tom's Supra. I keep wanting to call it a Lexus because this is the first race with the new cars, is on pole position. The New Zealander obviously having signed for a Formula E season on the back of this. It's not clear if he's going to remain racing in Japan going forwards. Well, the grid rolls away for the start of the formation lap, and headed by a new Toyota Supra pace car, and followed by that Keeper Tom's Supra. There you go. Nick Cassidy starts the number 37 car, followed by Nirei Fukuzumi in the Arta NSX. Sasha Fenitraz in third position in the 36 AU Supra. Naoki Yamamoto in the 100 Raybrig NSX. The Zen Supra is started by Tachikawa Nakayama in the 39 Denso Supra. Kohei Hirate in the Craft Sports GTR, first of the Nissans, 8th position. Sasahara in the Red Bull Mugen Honda. Keihin NSX is Bertie Baguette. Ronnie Quintarelli brings out the Motorsport GTR. The Wacos Supra is driven by Oshima. Kunamoto is in the Wed Sport Supra. The Modulo NSX is driven by Azawa. And the Calsonic GTR started by Daiki Sasaki. Takaboshi starts the Realize GTR to round out GT500 runners. Now we've got some, I'll talk about the GT300 field a little bit to the front of it. The Leon AMG is on pole in that class. Tsukunami starts that. Yasuda in the Gainer GTR. The Cintium Lotus, keep an eye on that. All professional driver lineup this year. Kato starts that car. The Green Brave GR Supra. Kawai starts that. Let's see if it's cute how it gets on. The first of the Prius, Nakayama starts that, while Hiraki is the Max Sayakan MC86. The Subaru BRZ is Yamuchi at the wheel, and the K-Tunes RCF, good to see that out, is Morio Nitta. Fujinami is in the Realized GTR, the other one, the GT300 spec, and the J-Lock Huracan is driven by Motojima. Hoshino is out in the Gainer GTR. Now, we've got some other people to thank before the race starts. And these are the supporters of the race here on YouTube. JDM Junkie, Paddy L Cubed, Argo 2077, Brian McCoy, Jays M, Cristiano Calvacante, Dan Hurd, Henrik Jakimski, Ghostwriter, GG0454, Antoni Yalamos, Scott Clancy, Erhan Chafowski, Erwin, Fleming Mickelson, Bots Yachts, Vito Dominguez, there's a lot of you here, Simo Solutions Official, Andre Frigon, Mark Scruggs, Charles Sturgeon, Andrew Chichon, Captain Buick, Old School Raver, Arthur Corona, Martin Minim, 88, AJ Rottini, good to see you back, Richard Loop, Leyland Lysette, Buzz Bayliss, Darian Quinn, good to see you, Darian Cloud, Bucktide, Thomas Lassou, Andrew Lung, TRB454, Bruce Kurtz, as the cars are getting around to the starting grid, Robbie Frankovitz. And I am going to hang over to watch the grid form up as we see the cars get ready. The yellow flags are still waving.
All eyes on the lights, Sam. Here we go. Remember, Super GT, that split starting procedure. GT500s will go, then shortly after GT300s will go. A long hold on the red lights. GT300s come into view behind. The GT5 still being held.
That's a long hold, isn't it? That's really going to be riding up these drivers. Keep an eye to the first corner as the lights go green, and Super GT is very much back. And we are racing. They're already warming their tyres, but I think that was more psychology by Nick Cassidy. Gets into the first corner first, but look, back into third position. There's a real battle as one of the Hondas gets past the AU Tom Supra. Does it? They touch into turn 2. Rob, you watch GT500. I'll watch GT300. And the GT300 cars are being held for a long time as well as the lights come up.
GT500s coming through the 100. Nick Cassidy still leads, but those Hondas behind are looking very racy.
In GT300, the green lights come on. The Leon Mercedes gets away, but that Nissan is, not great start for the Nissan, actually. And the Lotus is making a move up for second position with that Supra, but the Lotus didn't quite get it done into turn 1, nor did the Supra. But now there's a change of lead, is there, as the Nissan gets alongside the Mercedes and gets by. They're side by side into the left-hander. The Mercedes into the Nissan's into the lead. The Mercedes second, Lotus third, Toyota Supra in fourth position.
Sam, 3 words that will fill you with dread. Blue car gone. The Calsonic car has had the right rear corner removed, and it looked to be at turn number 7. So we had contact in the mid-grid of the GT500s as they came round through the second sector. They're already completing their first lap, and we have safety car on lap 1 here at Fuji.
Well, that is, the caution is out. The car is sat on the side of the track and it is in terrible condition. A huge hit on the wall. The driver is fine, but he's taken the whole right rear off. What happened here? 2 cars off. No, was that one of the Hondas he got hit? No, it's a Supra. That is a Supra off as well. So,
okay, so that was in the middle. I actually thought it was later in the lap. I thought it was at turn 7. It wasn't. It was on the exit of 5. And yeah, huge contact in the middle as we see the driver clambering out over the barrier. Nice to see he's perfectly okay, but a big hit at the back. And it was the Modulo NSX.
I think there's another car involved in that as well, Rob. I think that was a 3 car coming together because we saw what I thought was one of the Supras spinning round there. And that NSX does not look like it's got enough damage to tally with the huge amount of damage we've seen on the back of that Nissan. I think there's another car. Now, there's some new pit rules and safety car rules in Super GT this year. At the moment, you can see that the pits are closed. But before the track goes back to green, teams and drivers will be allowed to come to pit lane and make any changes, tyres and fuel as normal. And then we haven't seen it yet because we've gone straight to a full safety car, but the full course caution, the FCY, is also in force in Super GT this year. So you might see everybody driving to a lap time, which is what you normally see in the series like the WEC.
I thought we would see the full course yellow, but no, obviously given the amount of debris on the track that the marshals will be trackside, it is necessary to go safety car, unfortunately.
Yeah, I actually thought we were about to see an FCY as well, which is why I paused when we saw the safety car come out. I was like, well, is this a safety car, is it? No, it is very much a good safety car. Well, you can see on the screen the movers and shakers on, well, what there was of the first lap, who got up the field and who went down the field. Most people holding position, a few going up 1 or 2 or down 1 or 2 spots. The realised GTR, though, Takaboshi, who started at the back of the field, he's been the big beneficiary in GT500, gaining 3 spots. 2 of those cars in front obviously having damage, perhaps a 3rd car with damage as well, moving up the field. So that's good news. They started last in a GT500.
Whilst you were watching the GT300, Sam, moving and shaking in the GT500 field were all the NSXs. You can see they've all sort of moved up a position pretty much, apart from the Modulo one with damage. And they just look to have massive mid-corner grip. Here we see slightly pixelated view of that contact, and it was 2 cars. It was the Honda hard into the Nissan right at the back of the frame there.
How has that happened? I mean, that is a big hit. I mean, the front of that Honda is very strong for a front engine car. Well, if you're enjoying this, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We're seeing your comments coming in. Great to see 5,000 of you live already. I know there's a lot more of you out there on the various bits and pieces here on The Race. You are watching the 2020 Super GT season on the Race, and it is fantastic to have you on this new home of Super GT.
I can tell you exactly how that accident happened, Sam. Cold tyres. I think that the Honda just understeered on cold bags into the back of the Nissan, who cut across in front of him. Disappointing start to the season for those 2 teams, and it's going to be a long wait till we're back here on August the 8th for the next race.
And don't forget, though, there's lots of racing coming up live on this channel. This is also the home of the Super Formula Championship. And like Super Formula, Super GT does not use tyre warmers, and that could have created that accident. But let's have a look at the start again. And this is the GT300 start, which I was watching in the small right-hand side of your screen. Now, the Leon Mercedes made a relatively good getaway. The Nissan seemed to bog down a bit. And look at the JAF GT300 Supra behind it, and the mother chassis Lotus in 3rd position. It looked like those 2 were going to get the jump, and sure enough, into the first corner, they got very racy. But that wide entrance to turn 1 gave the Nissan a fantastic run on the Mercedes, and I think he got it done just before the safety car came out.
Great variety of field in GT300 as always, and that what is it, a pearl green GR Super in P4? That's been so quick in pre-season testing and looks great out of the blocks.
And this is the car that replaced the Toyota Mark X we saw last season. And as you see, the Gainer GTR leading the GT300 field, the Leon Pyramid AMG in second position. He was the pole sitter, lost the place. The Lotus, the GR Supra, and the first of the Toyota Prius cars in fifth position. Now, the Toyota Prius always gets attention in Super GT. It's V8 powered. It's got a Lexus GT3 engine in it, but it is still a hybrid. It uses the hybrid components from a Toyota Camry and some prototype bits that Toyota are working on for the future of their road car production. But look at the damage on the back of the blue car. That is huge.
That is not going to polish out, Sam.
That is definitely not. Well, we can see some of your comments coming in on the chat. Unfortunately, due to some issues with my own connection here, I can't join you in the chat for this race. But Dog Facebook, Kane Gaunt, Pisces 19, MP Rally videos, and this name is in use. We're seeing your comments and your involvement. RPiano say it's way better than current F1 cars, the way these cars sound. That's how a small capacity turbocharged engine should sound. I agree. And it's great to see this. You all agreeing with us. So don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. DF asks, will this race be uploaded as a replay on the channel? Yes, about an hour after the race, just as long as it takes to render it on. So, but don't fall asleep. Watch this live. It's far better. I know we've got Jensen Button, former Super GT champion, very eagerly watching us at home. We've also got other drivers like Heikki Kovalainen, Sean Walkinshaw, who couldn't make it out to the first round of the Super GT Championship due to the travel restrictions in Japan. And that is why I also am sat in Hertfordshire and not sat in Gotemba watching this race. But the racing is back, and that is the most important thing. And Jensen, you're very much missed, and I think the series is missing you, but I think you're probably missing the series more. And Heikki, you're definitely missed, and it's looking forward to your first run out in a race in this new Supra. Rob, what's it like to watch somebody else in your race car?
I can immediately think of an analogy, but I can't say it on television, Sam. How's Heikki Super Sub Kenta Yamashita getting on? Where's he in the GT500 field? I didn't see him.
Well, he's out there, but they're sort of mid-pack at the moment in the Sard Supra. I keep on struggling to say the word Supra. It's great to see the Supra back in Super GT. I've been commentating on some of the JGTC archive videos on the Super GT official channel, which is well worth a subscribe as well. And looking at the old Calsonic Supra and the beautiful blue Esso Supras, it's great to see. Well, here you see the Keeper Tom Supra is leading the field. The Zent Supra 30 is in fifth position. That's not the car you were asking about, though, Rob. The car you were asking about is 39 in seventh position, the Denso Supra.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on it, and I just hadn't spotted him. But yeah, there he is. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and Kenta Yamashita is in that car. Super subbing in for Heikki Kovalainen. Kenta Yamashita, one of those drivers that isn't that well known outside of Japan, but probably should be. He's extraordinarily quick, very competitive, and very surprised we haven't seen more of him in Europe, Rob.
Yeah, there's a number of drivers. You know, Naoki Yamamoto is another one. He's properly fast. I'm looking down the list. There's too many, really. You know, Kohei Hirate, twice GT500 champion. How many Formula One fans know of Kohei Hirate? Probably none. 1% maybe. And you know, there's drivers who've got a phenomenal future ahead of them as well, like Sho Suboi. He's a properly quick young kid who's now firmly ensconced in the Toyota Driving Academy. So, yeah, a real mixture of new talent and slightly older, slightly more experienced. You know, drivers over the age of 40 who are still rapid.
Is that what you call yourself, Rob? Slightly older, slightly more experienced. The pits are now open, but with only 5 laps completed. Of the 66 laps here at Fuji Speedway, 300 kilometres, nobody has come to take the services of their pit crew, of course, apart from the Modulo Honda crew to repair that rather heavily hit NSX. But I am surprised how little damage there was. Looking back at qualifying, it was the 5th career pole for Ryo Hirakawa, the first for the 5th gen Supra on its debut. In GT300, Niro Fukuzumi broke the lap record for that class in Q1, but Nojiri qualified the car in 2nd position in the R2 NSX, last year's reigning champions. Yamashita in for Heikki Kovalainen has qualified 7th, where the car currently is, and the car started in 11th position. Oshima was in the wheel of that. The Wacos Supra is not last year's champion. Team Le Mans are no longer competing in the GT500 category. They are helping one of the GT300 Audis prepare their car, and they have pulled out of GT500. But the Wacos Supra is now run by the Tsurumo team as a rookie racing project. So interesting to see how that will get on and look very different. Well, we're getting ready to go back to green here at Fuji Speedway as the cars come up to the previous corner, head up through that famous final sector at Fuji Speedway. Nick Cassidy will bring the pack back up to the start-finish line, but will those two Hondas have anything to spoil his day?
Lights out on the safety car, and as you say, Sam, Nick working very, very hard to get some heat in those tyres. Oh, those Hondas behind look racy. Nick's going to have to be really quick out of the blocks here to avoid getting mugged into turn 1. The Honda is running a very low drag downforce kit, and yeah, already tucked up right in the toe is the R2 NSX behind Nick Cassidy in the new Supra. Here we go. Race restart, gone green. Nick already going defensive down the inside, Sam.
Yeah, he's in the toe. He's drafting all the way down the start-finish straight, as we often see here at Fuji Speedway, trying to go around the outside and brake him. Not sure it's going to work. Sometimes it does. Sometimes they end up in the gravel trap. In this case, he didn't. Cassidy holds him off, but he's going to have to face a tough defence now into the left-hander. But the Racing NSX is there as well in GT300. The only real battle down into turn 1 is between the Supra, which gets past the Lotus, took it very gently into the right-hand first corner. Did he make the boost? No, they're still side by side coming down into the end of the first sector. The Supra is in the right position to get the second place. He's done it, and it's very nicely done.
Cassidy having his time at the front made slightly easier by the two Hondas scrapping behind. That's coming into the final sector now, coming down towards Dunlop corner. The Hondas still looking racy as they come through there. Cassidy working that Toyota hard. You can see him bucking and weaving as the tyres come back up to temperature. Through the long left at turn 15. This is where the Honda got right up in Nick's toe, coming out for the restart on the last lap as they come through. A slightly easier time for it this time as we come out onto the main straight. A little bit of breathing room there for Cassidy at the front. GT300 behind though looks super tight.
Well, questions coming in from people at home. Sarah Rigby has asked, is it possible to get the live timing at home in the UK? Yes, it is. She's supporting the number 9 Pacific Racing with D-Station Aston Martin Vantage. Beautiful car, that. You can get the Super GT app, so if you're on a magic phone, dig it out and find that. The Keihin NSX now battling into turn 1 with the Red Bull Mugen Honda and the Team Saab Toyota Supra looking on. Then comes the Nissan. They've been struggling as the Keihin car manages to stay ahead of the Mugen Honda Red Bull car.
The mid-corner speed of the GT500s, it's still astounding. Remember, these are still a GT car, Sam, but the amount of aero loading that they produce around that long right-hander at 4, 5 and 6, there's mega.
Having been around this track in an older GT500 car, the speed these things corner at is absolutely incredible. And helping that slightly is that Honda bought a new aero kit very late in the day at the final pre-season test, and it got a lot of eyeballs on it. They changed the front down dive plate slightly, and everybody thinks it's a Fuji specific kit. Honda deny this. We'll see. It seems to be working relatively well. Somebody who does need to bring some updates is Nissan. They are struggling here at Fuji Speedway. Are they down on power or are they down on cornering speed?
I think possibly both looking at this, Sam. It's unfortunate, really, but Honda have worked hard for straight line speed, going low aero with 4 rounds of the championship at Fuji. You know, you can't blame them. They're tuning their car for this venue, and it's doing well so far. But that the AU Supra behind the Raybrig NSX there is looking good. The Raybrig NSX has been properly fast in pre-season testing. Makino was actually the quickest here in the pre-season Fuji test, and yeah, it looks like we've got a race on here for second, third and fourth. Not
we certainly do that.
Getting away at the front.
We certainly do. Sacha Fenestraz first, he's making his name now in Japan and working his way onto the back of Naoki Yamamoto, and Yamamoto beat double champion of both Super Formula and Super GT, as we see a battle back in GT300. That is basically what you'll always hear me saying in this series, because there's always a battle in GT300, as you can see on your screen right now. The ARTA NSX, they're getting past the Lexus Syntium into turn one, which is also about to be taken by the Modulo NSX as well. Now, if you want to tell how these cars apart, because there's a Modulo NSX in GT500 as well, garage at the moment, and there's an ARTA NSX in GT500. Yellow lights for GT300, white light for GT500.
And fairly shortly now, we're going to be into one of the main issues of Super GT, which is lapped traffic. We're going to see the GT500s having to make their way through the GT300, which, you know, joking apart, is regularly 3 or perhaps even 4 wide on the front straight here at Fuji. But yeah, as you say, Sam, white lights denote the faster cars, yellow lights denote the slightly slower GT300 cars. A few questions coming through on the chat. How many races are there this season? I'm looking at a list of 8 races, and you can see all of those and their dates on the Super GT website. And how much horsepower do these cars typically have? Well, page 4 of the media guide tells me that the GT500 cars have about 500 horsepower.
That's not correct.
Yeah, it's fairly conservative. I reckon closer to sort of 600. And looking at, you know, they're quite a big car. Looking at the speed that they're pulling down the front straight for a car with a lot of drag, they have, as Sam suggests, they've got more than 500.
It's way more than 500. It's 650 to 700 brake horsepower in the GT500 cars, but the manufacturers won't admit it in public. Look at these battles right through the field. That Lexus trying to get back on terms with last year's champions, the ARTA NSX. Actually, no, it's the Modulo NSX now. He's got back on terms with. So that Lexus is struggling for pace, and he's about to be taken by Hatsune Miku in the very popular Mercedes. Michigami in the Modulo NSX with Jake Parsons, who's been making a name for himself out in Japan. But there's another man from the same part of the world, Nick Cassidy, who is just disappearing off into the distance. One of the most talented drivers to come out of New Zealand in a long time. But that battle between the ARTA NSX and the Raybrig NSX is very good. But they do need to keep an eye on that Sacha Fenestraz back in that new Toyota.
Nick Cassidy's body language has changed considerably as we see a puncture there for the J-Lock Lamborghini. His body language has changed since his tyres have come up to temperature. Not as much as that Lamborghini's tyres have come up to temperature, as we see him losing the carcass. Hopefully a lot of that tyre debris will land off the racing line and we won't have to see another safety car. But
it could be the first full... Oh, now is that his teammate? Yes, it is. That's both the J-Lock cars in trouble at the same time. So that T-Dash Lamborghini is also run by J-Lock. And, well, the other Lamborghini is trouble.
Sam, right rear puncture.
There it is. The Lamborghini's is having identity punctures. But it makes a difference when you catch on fire, I guess. And the tyre carcass from the J-Lock Lamborghini, the number 88 car, has, well, deposited itself on the rear wing, while the 87 Lamborghini is limping home as well. So that is going to be a busy pit box. Doesn't look like the race officials really mind these cars limping around and throwing rubber everywhere. No sign of full course yellow.
I'm just trying to think if these two punches are linked, Sam, whether this is the first time the cars have run on full tanks, whether the corner loading has been more, whether there's a little bit of body work been snagging right on the shoulder of the tyre. Just trying to think why both the tyres punch at the same time, as we see the Hondas almost coming together at turn 1. And like you say, Sacha Fenestraz, the Franco-Argentine driver there, looking fairly racy in the orange and white Toyota.
This is the battle for second position, and I don't think second position is going to... These three are not going to stay in the same order for very much longer. The two Hondas want to get by each other, but Fenestraz is just waiting there to grab the honours for Toyota. Now, Nick Cassidy has disappeared off into the distance. He's given the others a little bit of a driving lesson in his Toyota Supra. However, it is... You can see the rubber really down on the track there. That is going to be putting off the drivers. They're going to wonder what it is. Is it a bit of rubber and safe to hit? Or is it something more solid that's going to give you a puncture? As the GT500 field now gets into the back of GT300, and that Mercedes didn't make things very nice for that Arta Honda, and that's given Fenestraz an opportunity going down the start-finish straight. Keep an eye, he's going to be very much in the toe of the Ray Rig NSX. And that's an early pit stop for the Lotus, very early. Lap 11 for the Lotus Evora, the mother chassis car. Now, is that a problem for the Lotus as well? Is there a problem on the right rear? Can't quite see, but we didn't expect him in the pits at this point.
Oh, Sam, look at this. Look at this. That's our race leader there in the middle of 850 GT3 car.
Yeah, that is, and look at the battle. So that is the battle for second position in GT500, and the Ray Rig NSX gets it done, but the AU Tom's car, Sasha Fenestraz, going to try to go by both of them. They're side by side. Fenestraz on the outside, the Ray Rig NSX on the inside. Will Fenestraz get it done around the outside? No, he won't.
That was hairy. This is going to be equally hairy. There we go, around the outside of the GT300 GTR as we come up now to turn 7. The tighter left-hander sends it down the inside of that recovering Lamborghini. And Fenestraz there looking to make a move on the Ray Rig NSX.
This is what makes Super GT, the GT300 field. And look, as the Toyota Prius doesn't see the Arta NSX coming, he tries to make a move on the newly liveried Audi GT300 car there. But then up the front of GT300, look at this battle. This is first, second, and third in the field going down the straight. There is the new Supra in third. The Mercedes is in second, and the Gainer GTR is in the lead. But for how much longer? This is great stuff.
I love the Toyota there, flashing his lights as well at the AMG, just letting him know that he's there and he's got pace, encouraging him to make a move on the Nissan MP1. But within about, I reckon, 3/4 of a lap, Sam, we're going to have our GT500 leaders on this trio here.
Well, if you're enjoying this, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Of all of you watching, you need to hit the like button. The more like buttons to get, the more Super GT content you're going to get on this channel. We need to prove to the bosses that this is the best racing in the world right now. And I think it absolutely is, because you're getting a great demonstration of that in GT300. And when those GT500 cars encounter them, which I think will be in a couple of laps, you will see the effect it has on the lead of both categories. Though Nick Cassidy should make pretty easy work of these guys. It's the ones behind battling for second. You can see a big battle.
One thing I've missed from Super GT, Sam, has just been the noise. The mixture of the smaller capacity turbocharged engines, like we're looking at here with the GT500s, and then the larger capacity V8s, the V10s in the Lamborghinis. Oh, look at the clump of cars behind coming into Dunlop Corner.
Yeah, this is going to be great to see. There is that battle for, well, some of that battle for the second. AU Tom's car, Sasha Fenestraz trying to work through, but we've cut back to the lead of GT300 because the Leon AMG Mercedes has got the toe on the Gainer Tanax GTR. He's having a look down the inside. Is he going to go for it? Yes, he is, but thinks better of it. That's going to open the door for the Supra to dive up the inside. Is it? The first three are absolutely all together.
Sorry, I was just sat here with a big grin on my face, just enjoying the racing. I forgot I was at work then for a moment. Yeah, so coming through the fast left into the long right-hander here in the second sector. Can the AMG make a move up the inside coming into turn 7 here? Will he have a look? He's got to be careful. That Supra behind is looking very aggressive. Any slight mistake from our 2018 champion, the Leon Mercedes, and he's going to let that Supra through. That tyre debris, Sam, I think is coming more onto the racing line here, dude.
It is. Someone is clearly collecting it and they, you know, moving it around. And I think that could cause an issue for somebody a little bit later in the race. But at the front of this field, don't forget that third place car, that brand new Toyota Supra, it's run by mechanics from the local, well, from a local Toyota dealership. These are not professional race mechanics. The Green Brave team, they're from the Saitama Toyota dealership chain, and they are just a normal race mechanic, day-to-day mechanics Prius on a weekend off. But now, look at this battle. They are absolutely together coming onto the start-finish straight. Who will be in the lead as they come out of turn one? I have absolutely no idea.
Place bets now, everybody. Place bets now. Here we go. So Gainer Tanax just has the aerodynamic advantage from the Leon. And, you know, I think that Supra might have the advantage in terms of mechanical grip and corner speed, but it's not that quick in a straight line.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think you made a mistake by pulling out so early. As the Nissan goes defensive, the Supra tries to make a move into the corner. I think that is where the mother chassis cars make their time. Now, there's the battle in a GT500. The Ravering NSX getting back at the AU Tom Supra. Yamamoto and Fenestraz scrapping away. Now, they're going to find some GT300 traffic soon to get involved in. They're getting so close. That was nearly contact between those two as the Ravering car holds on. I bet Jenson Button is missing this.
I bet he is, yeah. I bet he's not missing coming through the GT300 lap traffic, but I bet he's missing just the fun of driving that GT500 car. A real challenge around these fast sweeps of Fuji.
And there is the lead battle for GT300. The Leon Mercedes touches the Nissan. The Supra is still hanging on there. Little bit of contact as Nick Cassidy goes past them.
Yeah,
wow.
Interesting to see.
Interesting to see.
Well. Sorry, Sam, talking over you.
Right.
Just interesting to see the GT300 drivers looking for any advantage, looking to follow the GT500 through if they could there. That's very tenacious driving and looking for every possible advantage. But no, back to stalemate as we were as we come out of the front straight.
Yeah, but I think the Supra needs to stay in the draft of that Mercedes because, look, you can see the Mercedes is driving away from that little green Toyota in a straight line. And that is the power of the AMG engine. In most cars, it's actually the previous car's engine that they carried over to the new car because it was more reliable. And they've just stuck with it. Mercedes are allowed to do that. That's after the back, where you'll find HWA and AMG based. Rob Barff knows that part very well. And I think Rob Barff is quite experienced driving this GT300 bit. Mercedes has tested them a few times, I think. But looking at the front, there is a full position car in a GT300, the Supra BRZ. But that's homing into this lead battle. But there is the battle for second position in GT500. Going through the battle of the lead in a GT300. And the Nissan was very much squeezed by the AU Supra in a GT500. They're all trying to make as much time as they can. And
Fenestraz sent it up the inside there, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And he very nearly collected that little bit of rubber as well that we've been watching. Everyone seems to be avoiding it at the moment, but it's not going to stay like that.
Just thinking about the weight of a tyre carcass like that, Sam, I reckon that must be about a 3.5 kilo piece of rubber. And, you know, the cars down there, they're doing 120 miles an hour, 200 kilometers an hour. If you hit a 3.5 kilo piece of rubber, that's going to do some damage.
I mean, imagine if you're driving along, you see one of those truck tyres on the side of the motorway, you're going along the motorway at 70 miles an hour, you hit that, it's going to hurt your car. Well, these cars are made of carbon fibre, it's going to completely destroy the front end. Well, you're seeing the GT500 runners working their way through the fields. There is the Arta NSX about to be passed by the Zen Tsurumo Supra of Tachikawa. And he made that look quite easy. The Keihin NSX homing in on the pair of them as well.
Quite a lot of quite a lot of brake dust there off the Zent Tsurumo Supra. First time we've seen that this season. I remember watching some of the races late on in 2018, Sam, that we were commentating on from here. Brake wear does become an issue, I remember, at Fuji.
That big stop at the end of the very, very, very long start-finish straight is the reason for that. When you reach there at 300 kph in a GT500 car, the braking is so late. Those Brembo brakes, they really stop as late as possible. Oh, they're actually AP brakes. not Brembo. So, as we see the Saab Supra now in GT300 scrap. Actually, what seems to have happened with the GT500 runners working their way through the front and the back in GT300 is that it's sort of calmed down the GT300 battle ever so slightly. And when I say ever so slightly, the cars are at least 2 meters apart, social distancing at the front of Super GT. But look, got deep into the corner, and that's changed speed. That looks strange. What happened there?
I think that was just a driver error. I think he just ran a little bit wide coming into Panasonic, and the AMG took advantage of it. But the Gainer Tanax back ahead now, slight straight line advantage. Who's going to be bravest on the brakes into turn 1?
The R2 NSX, oh no, the Motorsport GTR is going to be the bravest into the brakes. Around the outside of all of them, is he going to make that work? No, thinks better of it. Nelson under acceleration.
That was a large exhale from my office there, and yeah, that could have been really nasty if he'd have run wide.
It certainly could be. Now, you see the speed differential between these GT500 cars and their GT3 and GT300 stablemates. How fast are these GT500 cars? Well, I said they were about the pace of an Audi R18, but that's a 2014 spec Audi R18. So they are probably, we don't know because we haven't got the data yet, but they will be probably about the same speed or slightly quicker than the new LMP-H cars that will be racing in the Round1 FUJI, which will make Super GT the fastest tin-top series and closed-roof series in the world.
Sam, would you say that GT500 is faster than a DPI?
Yes.
By how much?
It's hard to say because they don't run on the same circuits. I'd guesstimate if you would put a DPI around Fuji Speedway, maybe about 1 or 2 seconds a lap.
Yeah, it's relatively close. It wasn't going to be lots, but yeah, I would tend to agree. Good question coming in from one of our followers on the chat there. So yeah, it made me think anyway. So that's a clarification from your end as well.
I was hoping a few years ago there was a possibility that we'd see that battle take place at the Nismo Grand Prix at the end of the season. It didn't happen. Nissan decided not to bring the DPI Nissan to Fuji Speedway to take on the GT500 cars, which I think was a real shame. Maybe it'll happen in future, but it looks unlikely. Maybe Honda will bring their DPI over to take on an NSX at some point. Maybe they'll let Jenson Button drive it. Who knows? I don't think he's that busy anymore. He's just hanging out in Hungary, I think. Well, there is we missed it, of course, but there has been a slight adjustment in the battle in GT300 as the Supra has moved up into second.
So he has. Sorry, missed that one, mate.
Yeah, me too. The Gainer Tanax car, that GTR, seems to be losing a lot of pace. It's dropping back a lot, and that it's taken a couple of funny lines. The Subaru BRZ now is homing in on the back of it, as the Supra is homing in on the back of the Leon Mercedes. So I think there may not be well with that Nissan GTR GT300.
And they're normally quite kind on their tyres. It does seem strange he's gone so far backwards so quickly and has managed to gap the AMG and the Toyota.
Yeah, and you see the another one of those Nissan GTR GT3s at the head of another battle there. It's Hoshino, from the famous Hoshino family, in 7th position. Mario Nitta, former champion, in 8th position. The Aston Martin Vantage that's being cheered on by quite a few people in the UK. Fuji at the wheel of that in 9th. And Shinichi Takagi, another former champion, in the R2 NSX. So a really high-quality field of drivers, some dating back to the JGTC era, in GT300. And that is really what makes Super GT quite so super, is the sheer quality of talent and variety in this championship. 20 laps completed here at round 1 of Super GT 2020 here on the race on the race, the new home of Super GT, Super Formula, and lots of other great events like the Legends Trophy, pitting the world's best drivers against each other in virtual reality.
Super GT is super. That's going to be my Facebook status for the day, Sam. Super GT is super. Does anybody use Facebook anymore?
I do.
Well, you know, you and I are a certain vintage, aren't we? Growing old like a fine wine.
No, I mean, I'm kind of like a 1950s Corvette. You're a bit like an Edwardian car that looks more like a carriage, frankly. Drive-through penalty for Shinichi Takagi in the 55. Don't know what that's for, but he's got one. That was a moral hazard, perhaps. In Super GT, you have a system of penalties called moral hazard penalties. And that's where a driver is being driven morally hazardous, and they get penalty points accrued on that. I forget who the most morally hazardous driver last season was. They do accrue these points in all tests as well as races. A bit like penalty points in the Super License.
That's a drive-through penalty then for our 2019 GT300 champions, Sam. So that's a disappointing start to their 2020 campaign. And with only 21 laps completed, a drive-through penalty is going to drop them down the order.
Yeah, but looking at somebody who might drop down the order at the moment, the Raybrig NSX really now under huge pressure from Sasha Fenestraz in the Supra, trying to get past that blue Honda, the famous number 100. And the rear end of that car is starting to move around. Now, Super GT is a tyre war championship, 4 different tyre manufacturers in each category, and the drivers have got to make those tyres last as the 55 takes that drive-through penalty. Still not entirely clear what that is for. Wait for an update from race control. Haven't seen that come through. No update yet, so we'll find out later on what that's for, and I'll update everybody on Twitter perhaps if we don't get it in the commentary. But that battle between the Raybrig NSX and Sasha Fenestraz in the AU Supra, probably the home of James Rossiter. He moved to Nissan, and Fenestraz was getting into the draft as we cut away to the Mugen Honda, which is heading to the pits.
Fenestraz is really taking liberties in traffic. Now, nothing wrong with that, but he's really just sending it into every single gap. You can only rely on your luck for so long before a GT300 will turn in on you. But as we cut back to that battle, Fenestraz is really making the Raybrig NSX work for it here.
Yeah, absolutely. He is pushing that. The Toyota, if we saw the Raybrig NSX moving around at the rear, and that, I wonder, is a sign of the rear tyres going off, because and does that mean the Supra keeps the tyres alive a little bit longer around the tyre debris? He was thinking about making an overtaking manoeuvre and saw that lump of rubber on the track, wanted to protect his front splitter and not collect that. That went into one of those cooling ducts. It could cause major problems for one of these 55 ducts.
Sam, anywhere on the front of the car is relatively fragile for a piece of debris that size and that weight, whether it be a brake cooling duct, whether it be a radiator, whether it be one of the debris fences, dive planes. There's a whole list of things that could be severely damaged. Now, are we going to see them coming into the pits? No, they're just going to the right-hand side early to get past the GT300 battling cars there. There's the Hoppy Porsche for the first time today. We haven't really seen that, have we?
No, the Hoppy Porsche replacing the 86, but Sasha Fenestraz now trying to go around the outside of the Raybrig NSX with all of those cars gaggled up behind him and forced onto the curb. Will he get it into the left-hander? He's forced almost onto the grass, getting very aggressive. I think he's got this done. Yes, he has, but for how long?
Yeah, literally edge of the seat stuff there. The cars can't have been more than 10 or 15 centimetres apart. As we come into the left-hand era at turn 7, Fenestraz just runs a fraction wide, but gets good drive out. The young Franco-Argentinian driver, huge support in Argentina for him. Coming down to the bottom of turn 10, where we saw that lump of rubber. As we cut back to the GT300 battle for the lead, the Leon Mercedes just slightly further ahead than the new V8 Supra.
Well, the first of the GT300 cars are now beginning to make their scheduled stops. Still never had an explanation as to why the Lotus stopped on lap 11. We have seen that team use some unusual pit strategies before, which have worked out for them. We know the car is very, very kind on its tyres. So could they make that work? Well, this is the GT300 battle. Yasuda in the Gainer GTR faded badly. He was really up at the front, leading the race at one point, and now back defending third position from the 4th place Subaru. Yamuchi in the BRZ there. The BRZ Subaru is built to the JAF GT300 technical regulations and is in no way identical to the GT86s you see in this race, which are built to the mother chassis regulations. They're carbon fiber monocoques. There is Makino, ready to get into the Racing NSX. But Makino was one of the great hopes for Honda's Formula One program, but he's now found a new home in GT racing.
On my GT500 driver notes, next to Makino's name, I have the words proper and the word fast written down. He is an extremely quick driver, and it's going to be interesting to see that battle between the AU Tom's Supra and the Racing NSX once they've both done their driver changes.
Yeah, absolutely. Pit stops and tyre strategy and fuel strategy as well is a big part of Super GT. Now, is that the Gainer car heading for the pits? Yes, it is. Now, will the Subaru just put in some fast laps and try and get past him on pit strategy rather than on track? Notably, the Subaru's headlights aren't working.
I think that's just as he latched. Yes, Subarus weren't working. I saw the lights on the GTR flash there, but it was just as he latched the pit lane speed limiter.
Yeah, and that is it. There's the battle for the lead, though, in GT300. Calmed down a bit, but not by much. Second position is the green Supra there, and first position is the Mercedes, as that is a routine pit stop for the Gainer Tanax car. On fresh tyres, it will be interesting to see if that Gainer Tanax GTR regains some of its pace.
And you can see that they did a pair of tyres, then have gone for fuel, and they're going to have to wait to do the remaining pair. So the fuel man is out, the left front and the right front are now being changed. Old Dunlops on, new Dunlops. Oh, and a stall. Oh, yeah, old Dunlops off, new on, and away he goes.
Yeah, and it's a lot of people are asking, with this pitch cycle going on, is there a live timing app available? Yes, there absolutely is. Look up Super GT app on your Magic phones and various devices, and you will find a live timing app that you can use. And it's very, very good. As you see, Hatsune Miku, a little bit quiet in the GT300 so far this race, unlike the GT500 battle between these two Hondas.
Yeah, just trying to analyse any difference there between the Arta and the Cahin cars in terms of body language, but they both seem to have a really sharp turn in. They've got good mid-corner grip and are both still getting out the corner very well. I think this is a really nice-looking GT500 car. I saw a question on the chat earlier, Sam. Why have Honda been made to go front-engined?
The new technical regulations introduced into Super GT this year. This is the Class 1 rulebook, which was meant to see the unification of Super GT, GT500 and DTM. But the Super GT, being, you know, Super, has introduced a variant of those regulations called Plus Alpha. The Plus Alpha regulations allow for engine development, a little bit more aerodynamic development, and a few other bits of clever goodness, as we see the two battling Hondas having a battle in the pit lane. Now, this means that the Super GT cars are, in theory, slightly faster than those used in DTM. There's certainly probably going to be more of them this year, or next year, certainly. And that's why Honda, the regulations only allow you to have a front-engined car. You cannot have a mid-engine, a midship car, like the old NSX was. So the GT300 cars are absolutely midship cars, as the Arta NSX wins the race off pit road, as they'd say in oval parts of the world. But that is not a battle that's not over. No, that is about the same. Driver changes and tyre changes all going the same. So everybody looks, well, the drivers don't look too happy or unhappy. With that, it's just going to be good battle.
I was just going to say, please cut back to pit out, because both those Hondas are on stone cold tyres, and it's just going to be a battle of who's the bravest and who's got the best car control on cold tyres.
But the leader in GT300 has come to pit road as well, Rob. It's interesting to see where the Supra is. We've got that close shot. No, the Supra has stayed out. So the GT300, the brand new JAF GT300, I think the APR team who built the Supra has been involved with that car, is now leading the GT300. There you go. Confirmation, 52 Green Brave GR Supra is leading. I think that's the first time that team has led a race. I don't think they led at any point in 2019. I'm just checking that. And yeah, for a team of amateur mechanics, that's pretty good.
Sam, they've got a problem here. They have a canny pit stop strategy, only to change the left-hand pair of tyres, but that left rear has jammed. So this has cost them a lot of time and will have certainly cost them that part of their part in the lead battle. But what I thought was a brilliant strategy, only to change a pair of tyres, has backfired on them.
Yeah, that's gone badly wrong. That's unfortunate, because that could have been a genius strategy, changing the left side only, and it didn't work. So where are they going to feed back out? Well, down by the Max Sayaka. There's the Gainer Tanax GTR. So he did lose a lot of time as well somewhere. So that's a surprise. That's not the other Gainer Tanax. That is the car that the Leon was battling with. So somewhere along the line, that car, the Gainer Tanax, has lost an armful of time in the pit stops. No, he has got hot tyres, the other car hasn't. Well, there's that battle of GT500 on the cold tyres you wanted to see. Just on the back of the GT300 leader, side by side, the two Honda NSXs, Arta versus Raybrigg. Nojiri versus Tsukakoshi.
And there's
the AU Tom
Fenderstrasse right behind as well.
Oh, this is great entertainment. I'm watching from Hertfordshire, England. Jensen Buttons watching from Budapest. Jay Ray is watching from Canada. Rob Barff is watching from the 18th century. Where are you watching from? Let us know in the chat. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe.
We've got 6,500 people now watching, Sam, which is great. Really good to know you're there. It's great to be back. Great to be watching Super GT here live from Fuji.
And what you just saw was a change of position as the AU Supra got up to second. Well, it says second position on your screen. I don't think that's correct. It maybe is now under the pit stops. But the AU Supra got up to place. But there is your undisputed leader. Not made his pit stop yet. You can see the pit stoppers with that blue number 1. Everybody from 9th back in GT500. Nick Cassidy, though, has opened up a stonking lead.
I'm always really impressed with Nick Cassidy's pace in clean air. We've seen this so often. When he gets out front, he just stretches and stretches and stretches. That boy's like a metronome, you know, just banging in super quick, lap after lap after lap after lap. And yeah, brilliant performance from Nick.
Nick the metronome at Cassidy. 13-second lead over second position. That looks pretty unassailable. What isn't unassailable is the leading GT300. This car, the green Brave Supra, its race debut, still has to stop. How long will they go? Lap 29 of 66. 9-second lead over second position over the BRZ Subaru. However, the cars that he's really racing with is the number 2 Cintium Lotus, as there seems to be it's just a long fuel stop for the Zen Tsurumo Supra.
Yeah, while the fuel is going in, the only thing they can do is change drivers. So it always looks quite relaxed. As soon as you see the fuel man pull out, then they will do the second half of the tyre change if they are doing a full service and changing all 4.
There you go. And as you can see, no tyre warmers. The tyres are just left there by the car. Quite often you see the mechanics sitting on them for a pit stop. So you can see that bit of that pit stop, just the driver change taking place in Ledgley Way. And the Wacos team, or the Wacos sponsored bit of the Tsurumo team, are getting ready for their GT500 car as Cassidy disappears off into the distance.
Sam, with your technical nerd cap on, Ninja Please asks on the chat, what octane fuel are they running with today?
I believe the octane's about 100 octane to 105. The teams are given a choice of what fuel to use, and that choice is Kahin NSX is in trouble and pulling off. I will finish that talk about fuel in a minute. Yes, there is trouble. Now, it looks like he hasn't hit anything and there's no obvious smoke. It just looks like the car has shut down. We've seen this with the Hondas in GT500 before, a few seasons ago, where the entire field shut down.
What would be really interesting is if we could see a replay of this, did it happen just as he climbed on the power at the apex of turn 1? Because turn 1, with it being such a tight corner, it does put a lot of load through the transmission. Could be diff, could be drive shaft, as we see the AU Supra making a pit stop. I think we saw Sasha Finistras getting out of that. He will be replaced by Sekiguchi.
Yeah, absolutely. Sekiguchi is in the car. That's confirmation. The Wacos Supra is also in the pit lane. I think that was the Lotus coming out of the pits as well for a second stop. I just missed that as it spit out the bottom of the screen. And they were right in the middle of the pit cycle.
Looking at the lap, Sam, 31 laps gone out of 66. If Lotus have done a pair of stops, they can go to the end, can't they now?
Absolutely. I mean, everybody who's stopping now will go to the end. It's really a one-stop race over 300 kilometers at Fuji Speedway. As we saw, the Mercedes was thinking about not even changing its tires. The Aston Martin is making its pit stop, the D station with Pacific Racing. There's the Subaru BRZ with its lights flashing. That car was right up at the sharp end of GT300, hunting down the race leaders. There is the green Brave Supra coming up to go around the outside of it. The Brave Rig NSX also in. Yamamoto and Makino swapping position.
Going back to that chat we were just talking about octane of fuel, Sam, I remember reading that the cars had to use the fuel that was supplied to the circuits, didn't they?
That's absolutely right. That's the point I was talking about and was going to make. And yes, it's the fuel that's available from the pumps in the paddock. And at Fuji Speedway, I think there's supposed to be about 3 different fuels. Some of the circuits only have 1 or 2 pumps, but you can only use what's on sale at the circuit. So what you'll see is the engineers will go off to Fuji Speedway about a week before the race, take a sample of the fuel, go off and have it tested so that they can map the engines to run on that fuel in the right way. So it's a little bit of a challenge, and that's why these engines don't produce as much power as they could do if they were running on Formula 1 specification fuel. The combustion chambers in a Super GT engine, GT500 engine, are extremely similar in concept and design to those used in Formula 1 V6s. And that's why the power levels are so high. Well, you're seeing the GT500 field sort itself out after the pit stops. The AU Tom's car leaving the pits. There's the Brave Rig NSX, the Keihin NSX being recovered behind the barrier, so that's done for the day. Still not really sure what happened to it, other than it just stopped.
Well, it still had lights on when it was rolling down the hill, so it had power. Looking at where it happened, I reckon that might have been a drive shaft go on the exit of turn 1. We'll wait and see.
It had the smell of transmission about it, didn't it? Well, the race leader is in. Nick Cassidy is handing over to Ryo Hirakawa. He's put in a demon first stint. Let's see if Hirakawa can take it home. Big advantage they had before the pit stops. And the pit stop looks to have gone all to plan. And Keeper Tom's car takes back to the...
great, don't they?
They're brilliant sounding cars. This is what racing cars are meant to sound like.
Not like
turbocharged. It's a turbocharged 4-cylinder 2-litre engine. And I've never heard one sound so good. And when you hear them at the track, they all sound different, the GT500 engines. You can tell them apart from quite some distance. If you're standing at Motegi train station and the cars are on track at the racetrack at Twin Ring, you can tell a Nissan and a Honda and a Supra apart from over 4 kilometres.
Just coming up to half distance, Sam, now. The race leader will be starting his 33rd lap next time round, so half distance. And really warming up now, over 30 degrees air temperature. And when we were watching practice from yesterday, I wouldn't have said the weather was going to be like this today.
No, I mean, it looked like it was going to be the normal Fuji Speedway rain, fog and mist conditions, but it is a bright, sunny afternoon in Shizuoka Prefecture, just to the south of Tokyo. Takes about 90 minutes on a direct train from Shinjuku on the Romance car. It's a great way to travel. Beautiful area of Japan, famous for its onsen, hot springs. And it's right on, you hear people say this is on the side of Mount Fuji. Yes, there's trouble now for the Red Bull Mugen Honda. And I'm trying to see, it's a left rear puncture.
Yeah, left rear puncture is there. Has he had damage? As we see the our race leading Supra coming, GT300 Supra coming into the pits. Sorry, I was put off there slightly because he's put his windscreen wiper on. And I was trying to think whether the two things were related, but no, they can't be, can they?
No, I think that's just the driver diving out and hitting a button. Now, what happened here? Now, we can... Oh, this is the end of the accident. We see a rotating Honda. Or, just trust me, there's one behind that cloud. And that smoke's coming from the left rear where the tyre's gone down. But did the tyre go down for any other reason, or did it just go down? Who knows? Anyway, the Red Bull Mugen Honda not going to be super competitive as a result of that. The Craft Sports GTR also making its pit stop. We've not really spoken much about the Nissans in GT500. Not having the best day out today. GTR struggling a little bit.
The pace of this new green GT300 Super, though, it hasn't happened by chance today. They were properly quick in the pre-season Fuji test, and they've replicated that today. A good, clean stop as well on lap 33 of the race, and they're right in the mix. Obviously, it's a new car. There are question marks over its long-run reliability, but it certainly has pace. And, well, with now 32 laps to go, they're right in the mix.
In the pouring rain the other day, the Fuji Speedway safety crew used that car, the Green Brave Supra, to practice their recovery techniques for cars stranded out on track. So I hope that wasn't a portent of doom, because it doesn't seem to be at the moment. Well, half the race gone, half the race still to go. You're watching round one of Super GT 2020 on The Race. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We're in the middle of the pit stop sequence at the moment. Hatsune Miku is up to second, but there's that's the Red Bull Mugen Honda recovering to the pits extremely slowly. A lot of tyre rubber down here at Fuji Speedway, and not from rubber being used on the car. It's lumps of rubber that have come off of cars that are in this situation. That doesn't look like a normal straight tyre down, does it, Robbie? It's very slow to recover.
Yeah, okay. Who's that in the background, Sam?
Who's that in the background? Yeah.
Is
that's
that
the BRZ
rookie car? Oh, it's BRZ. Okay, sorry.
It's BRZ, yeah.
Blue.
Is that another left rear puncture?
No, there's flames coming from the left front of that one, so something's on fire.
Oh, it does that from time. It does do that from time to time. Does the BRZ, but it also has engine failures from time to time. And I suspect that might be what's gone on there. Either way, it's the slow car park.
Yeah, he would do well to park by Marshall's hut, I think. He doesn't want to be stopping in the middle of nowhere if there is any form of fire coming from the front of that. They need to get that out quite quickly.
Well, I was about to say that was a nice fence post, but we're now looking at what we need to be looking at. And there he is, stopping by the little fire truck. Tiny little fire engines here at Fuji Speedway, and there is one. Not sure it actually is on fire. I think that just is the exhaust kicking it out. And as the Subaru team...
Sam, you asked for a list of places where people are watching. Have you seen that on the chat?
It's amazing
to you, son.
I'll try and read some of that out. Well, as the Subaru BRZ team look on at their car, not looking too happy on the run-on. Still pit stoppers to come in GT300 before this the all evens himself out. The Kent NSX, Teddy Bear BMW, the run-up GTR, the Hoppy Apple 111, one of the two Priuses, and potentially RCF all need to come to pit lane and get some fuel and tyres. I'd expect them imminently. The Hoppy 911, car 25, interesting car. That they replaced the GT86 they used to race, one of the new specification GT3 Porsches. Still running though that wonderful Hoppy livery.
Oh, you've cursed him, Sam. You've cursed him.
That was classic cursing commentating, wasn't it? There is that Hoppy livery being displayed far too slowly, and it looks like it's plugging up a tyre. Yeah, another left rear as well.
Okay, so we're seeing a pattern now. The track is covered in debris, and we're getting loads of cars getting punctures. You know, I genuinely think the two are going to be connected. Now, Fuji, in previous years, with cars running too much exit curb out of turn 16, Sam, am I right in thinking that we've seen a puncture where the Zensarumo car is here? If you run too wide, there are those curbs that can damage the tyres, can't there?
Well, a couple of years ago, we saw the little grass, fake grass there being lifted by some of the cars and exposing the mounting points. And that could cause some punctures if they run wide on the exit there. But there's a couple of other points around the track where you might run the left rear out onto a curb. And we'll probably see some of those around the lap now if we follow these two GT500 cars battling for third position. Raving NSX of Makino there will show us that they're just there. You'll see on the entry curve, they've gone quite wide and on the exit. So there's a few places around the lap where you might be able to pick up punctures. And I wonder if the teams are on the radio to the drivers saying, keep an eye on those curves on the right of your cars.
I haven't been making a note. I will do at the next round of which cars have punctures and what tyre manufacturer they're running. Obviously, you mentioned it earlier, this is a tyre war championship. We have 4 different makes of tyre, and each of those tyres will have different constructions, different compounds, and whether one tyre make or whether one car type is working that make harder than others. But yeah, it'll be interesting to sort of monitor that at the next race. I'll put that in my little book.
So I asked him a few laps ago when there was the Subaru falling apart about where you were all watching from. Well, it is absolutely astonishing. I'm going to try and rattle through all of these. Austin, Texas, Singapore, Australia, Pennsylvania, Mexico, another person in Singapore, Auckland, New Zealand, Australia, India, Malaysia, more Australia, Canada, Hong Kong, South Africa, the Philippines, North Carolina. Hello, y'all. Gibraltar, California, Canada again, Budapest, that's Benson Button, Scotland.
Sam, we've got a station in Nissan in the middle of the road.
That is the run-up. Frevo GTR, and that was nearly the end of a Toyota Prius.
That's a very scary. Well, corner 13, unlucky for some. That's a relatively blind right-hander. The drivers aren't going to see him until right at the last point. We can see it's being covered by a localized yellow flag because you can see the green flag being waved after the incident. But that driver, he's going to be sat there till Christmas if he's going to wait for a gap in the traffic to recover.
Yeah, there's no gap in the traffic. But the lights are on, which suggests he's still got the engine. So he's just sitting, looking rather scared out of his left hand. Isn't moving now. There is a gap in the traffic.
Oh no, the door. He's bailing, Sam. He's bailing.
This could be a safety car.
This driver has become scared and has left the. Yeah, he's getting out. I wouldn't get out, son. You're in 1,200 kilos of safety cell, and we can see here why he was in that situation in the first place. He hasn't seen the GT500 car over his right shoulder. And that was. Yeah, you see the GT500 Ortec car lose one of its front dive planes.
I was going to say there's damage on the Motor Ortec GTR, and there is the safety car, as we expected. This could work out quite nicely for some of those who were expecting to make stops. However, those who have already had a stop will make that track position. So it could be quite, particularly in GT300, yeah, the pits will open up before we go back to green. It could be quite exciting for the GT300 field. However, some of those cars who have yet to stop will be running quite low on fuel.
You can make a pit stop if it's technically necessary. I did read in the technical regulations, the sporting regulations, beg your pardon, if you are running out of gas and you have to stop, you can do, but otherwise, nah.
I think you can just whack in the fuel. You can't change the tyres, so you have to come back to pit road again. We'll see if anybody gets caught out on that. This is a car that definitely won't be caught out on that. Hirakawa in the keeper Tom's GR Supra, but they are one of the big losers of this safety car. Nick Cassidy have built up a really chunky lead over, well, everybody else in the race. And this safety car has just deleted all of that, which is good for us because it'll be quite exciting. But I was talking about where everybody in the world was from. Every time I've tried to read out a list or make a point in this Super GT race, we've seen just such excitement and brilliance on track that I've never finished my point, which might make it seem like I'm just completely lost, but I'm not. It's just, we've just had so much brilliance going on in the race. But we've got viewers in Scotland, Sweden, Dubai, Germany, the Ukraine, Tasmania, Russia, Queensland, Pennsylvania, the Netherlands, Northern Ireland, France, Poland, Belgium, Missouri, Norway, Costa Rica, Portland, Oregon, and Boston in Massachusetts. I've just noticed nobody's written down England on that list.
They're all still in bed.
Which is Liverpool. There you go. And also nobody in Wales. So when Jann Mardenborough watches this back, he'll be a bit disappointed. Now, I'm sure Jan's family are watching us live because they always do.
So
Wales's top race driver at the moment.
There we go, via the non-stopping of the M6. He's now currently leading GT300, as you can see on the graphic on the left-hand side there. Haven't seen him at all today, Sam, have we?
No, we absolutely haven't. It's some cars you expect to see a lot from are having quite a quiet race. The second of the Toyota Prius, which is actually in second position at the moment, the number 30 car. We really haven't seen much of that. It's still got to make a pit stop. And there he is. TV director's listening to us. He hasn't made his pit stop. Those yellow Prius cars are the loudest cars in Super GT. Well, the two. Max Arrido at the wheel of that.
I'm quite liking Max's lockdown hairdo.
Sorry, I was having a giggle there. I thought you were going to carry on about you talking about hair.
No. I just saw that he was sporting an afro that you would be proud of, Sam, and obviously he's not managed to get out for a haircut lately, as have I.
Well, there's Yoshimoto. He doesn't need a haircut in the Lexus Cintium GT300 car. And there's our race leader, the keeper, Tom's Supra. I can't, when they announced they were going to reintroduce the Supra into GT500, I did have a hankering for somebody to run one of the old liveries, like a Castrol or the Esso liveries, but not the case. Thought we might see a Matsumoto Kiyoshi.
The retro liveries do work really, really well, don't they? We've seen both Nissan running those and Porsche running those in recent years.
Well, exactly that. I mean, the red Nissan livery itself is a bit timeless, as is the number 12 Calsonic blue car. Which, if you're just joining us, you missed its very early demise right at the start of the race. Heavy damage to the back of the Calsonic number 12 blue car, so that is out of the race. Slight damage to the red car recently in the incident that brought out this safety car, getting tangled up with a GT300 GTR. Very light contact, but it seems to have brought the run-up GTR, the number 360 car, which didn't manage to do a 360, it did a 180 and is still stuck there, which is a little bit unusual.
It's the runaway Nissan GTR, not run-up. He's looking at damage.
I'm surprised the car's still there, though.
Yeah, perhaps it's obviously damaged the right rear corner where the driver's looking at, and he's lost drive. So he's obviously physically fine, but yeah. So here we have a replay of it. So the car we're looking at, the black car with the red stripes in the middle there, he's looking at the M6 on his left. He hasn't seen the Motor Lawtech car on his right.
And it's just turned him around. No, it's not heavy damage there.
No, it's not heavy damage, but it's clearly been enough just to do a drive shaft. So he's now in the middle of the road. The lights are on, but he's got no drive. The lights are still on.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not quite sure. The driver's back in the car, actually. If they're going to lift it with the driver in the car, are they? No, surely not. Oh, maybe they are. The lights are on that car, which usually means the engine's running, but clearly it's not, just the ignition's on. Yeah, that's a strange incident, that one. Not quite sure what's gone on. I think that move by the Motor Lawtech GTR was a little bit brave, Rob.
Yes, definitely. As a driver of the quicker car, when you come up to two slower cars, you have to make the assumption that he will not have seen you. And yeah, I don't know whether it was Ronnie Quintarelli or Sugo Matsuda in the car at the time, but yeah, he just sent it up the inside, and yeah, unfortunately hadn't been seen.
Well, it's good to see we've got people from Liverpool and Newcastle in England. But we've also got viewers in Cardiff, predictably. Yeah, exactly. Same for Cardiff. some good nights out there during Rally GB. It's getting hotter at Fuji Speedway. The air temperature is up to 32 degrees centigrade, and the track temperature is notably up to 40 degrees centigrade, which will have an impact on tyre wear. That could help the teams that have yet to pit. Those guys in GT300 who will be pitting when the pits open imminently will be getting fresh rubber and going out to fight their way back from the back of the field. They'll stay on the lead lap because it takes quite a long time behind the safety car to get around, but they will lose track position.
They'll also have an opportunity, Sam, to get their tyres up to temperature on that lap out to the back of the chain as well. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think that they will benefit. Those GT300 cars that haven't stopped so far will have a very strong last sort of 10, 15 laps.
Now, if you haven't watched Super GT before, what's happening now is completely normal. During a safety car period mid-race, we didn't see it earlier in the race for some reason, but during a safety car period mid-race, the officials will stop all of the cars on the start and start-finish line. That's what you're seeing. You line up the GT500 cars on the right-hand side and the GT300 cars on the left-hand side. Those who are a lap down or are not the race leader are being given the way through. That's what you're seeing, the cars coming towards you from GT300. Then they will find the GT300 race leader and stop them on the left of the field. The whole field will assemble, safety car will get going again, the pits will open, and then we'll go back to racing. It's a good system.
Hey, bonkers. I love it. I think it's great. Works really, really well and gives clarity between the two classes as well, which is really good.
I was commentating with one of your predecessors on Super GT, Rob, once, and they'd never seen this procedure before. And I was feeling in a slightly salty mood, so I decided just to not explain it and let them commentate.
You ratbag. Really good question from Michael Grant on the chat. While we were sort of talking earlier about Nick Cassidy, Michael has asked, do you think that Formula E will boost Nick's chances of a Formula 1 drive?
Personally, no, I don't think it will, because I don't think Formula E is a particularly relevant demonstrator of talent compared to Formula 1. You don't see many people going Formula E to Formula 1. In fact, I don't think anybody's done that. His ability in Super Formula is what really should deserve him a Formula 1 seat. He's won that championship twice now. He really deserves to be at least given a Formula 1 test. And I think it's a crying shame that Nick Cassidy hasn't been given a chance by AlphaTauri at the moment. He really does deserve a run out in that team at least, or any other Formula 1 team, quite frankly. Hugh Messenger, thank you for joining our wonderful YouTube channel. And you can see lots more on this channel coming up. World's Fastest Gamer, which I think, Rob, you're involved with. And as well as that, Super Formula Championship, that every race live and in full. Super GT, which you're watching, and there will be more live racing action this season. The series formerly known as the VLN, live every single race on the race as well. And the return of the Legends Trophy will be coming up as well.
Nice to know that James Rossiter is watching in Monaco. That's just popped up on the chat as well.
Yeah, he's been tweeting me. James Rossiter, another driver who can't get to Japan. Be good to see him out back in Super GT. He was always fun to watch. And just waiting for the safety car to do its work. The track is now clear. We should see the pits open this time by. Though they haven't, because the track isn't completely clear, because they're taking their time with that flatbed truck. No snatch tractor this time. And they're just really, well, taking their time to recover a car. But who's in a rush? It's Sunday afternoon in Japan. Sunday morning in Europe. No idea what the time is in the USA. But welcome to Super GT for those who haven't seen us. So if you are on social media, want to follow us on the various channels, follow @WeAreTheRace. It's fantastic to have you all on board, and people are reading and responding, and we do see those comments. So do keep tweeting us. My name is Sam Collins, and I'm joined by Rob Barff.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Great to have you out there. Lap 41 here at the Fuji Motor Speedway. The safety car leads the cars round with the GR Supra, the new GR Supra. The keeper car lining up in first place currently with, what, 24 laps to go. That was a racing driver doing maths there. Sam, are you impressed?
Well, I'm impressed a racing driver can do maths. Well, the pits are open and there are a few takers, and I think they will be the expected takers in GT300. You'll see it in your screen at the moment. Hopefully we'll see those cars coming to pit lane. No, okay, TV director wants to watch GT500. Fair enough. I mean, I mostly want to watch GT500. 2,000 likes. Thank you very, very much, but we need more of them. If you're watching this, you're enjoying Super GT, and you like the fact it's full, free, and uninterrupted, with no registration or any other nonsense required, hit like, hit subscribe. Follow us on the race.
I'm a massive fan of content that's hidden behind paywalls, Sam. I don't know about you.
No comment.
So watching the safety car, still got lights on at the moment, but he's looking a little more racy now. He's up the pace. I would suggest that the track will be clear in the final sector now, but while the lights are on the safety car, he's staying out. So all eyes on that GR Supra at the front. And there we go, lights out, Sam. We're going to be going green this time round.
Yeah, and the keeper, Tom's car, will be leading the field down the start-finish line. He will be very happy looking in his rear-view mirror to see the AU Tom's car. Those two cars are teammates, so it won't get too hostile into turn one, says the commentator. But look how much he's backing up the field in those final corners. He's really bringing them all together, looking for almost for a NASCAR-style restart. Trying to be a bit clever. That can backfire on a restart if you're warming your tyres and then suddenly try and break away. He's really backing them up, and I'm not sure that's the right decision.
It was a brave one. As you say, it could have backfired, but it hasn't. Ryo Hirakawa, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 car lengths as he comes out of Panasonic, turn 16 onto the front straight to take the green flag to restart. And yeah, good restart from the Supra in the lead. We see the AU car behind warming its tyres, and it was the NSX in P3 that we've got to watch.
Yeah, I mean, he played that to perfection. The NSX is not going to be in position on the AU Tom's car into the first corner. It's Tom's first, Tom's second, Raving NSX third, then the Zendt Tsurumo, then another NSX, then the new Wacos Supra, followed by the Saab Supra in at GT500. We haven't seen the GT300 restart yet. Just keep an eye on the top of your screen. We'll see it soon. There's Nigerian Sho Suboi in the Wacos Supra. He's very worth watching. There is the GT300 restart, or some of it anyway. We've, I think, missed the front of the pack. Yes, we did. There's
and we can see that we can see the Leon Mercedes. The problem they had at the pit stop, Sam, has cost them track position. They were in that lead group, and they're now sort of down P5, P6. So these are our cars that hadn't stopped.
Yeah, and there you're seeing some of the other pit callers that we expected. They're going to lose the advantage now. That's not gone well for those guys making their pit stop late. Second position, this is the battle for second. The Gainer GTR, Hironaka at the wheel of that. Then Sakaguchi in the MC86, the Mac 5 car. Speed Racing Tribute. JP Oliveira in the Realized GTR. Good to see him in GT300. And the Leon car, Gabu at the wheel of that. Their pit strategy error has been made up for by that safety car problem, and I think you might see them working through the field. Meanwhile, in GT500, Sho Suboi trying to get round Najiri. These two battle each other regularly in the Super Formula, but this time Sho Suboi got it done. Will Najiri come back? And you've got to keep an eye on that Lexus coming out of the pit lane. As the Saab goes around the outside. Yeah, easy move.
It was the Lexus on cold tyres that I had my eye on there, but no. Great move there by the Wacos. It's Wacos Team Rookie car.
That's right. Wacos Team Rookie car has placed the Team Le Mans Wacos LC500, which won the championship last year. Team Le Mans has pulled out of GT500 and ended its long association with Toyota. There were rumours that they were going to bring an Aston Martin DTM car to the series in GT500, but instead they've partnered up with Totsuyama at Audi team and running that car in GT300. But I think they may well do that in GT500. onto distant future for car paint green.
We live in hope. They're a great team with a rich history in this series, and it will be great to see them back in some form or another. It's a great shame the Aston Martin DTM project didn't come off, but that would have been a good addition to the GT500 field.
Yeah,
Sorry, I was just going to say, Nitsa24 sent a nice comment through on the chat, Sam. Oh man, been missing these since Nismo TV went away. Nice.
And Steve Jackson's just tweeted me saying he's absolutely chuffed. Super GT hasn't changed a bit. Awesome racing, awesome commentary, and the Subaru VRZ being predictably unpredictable. Love it.
The thing that makes this championship special... Sorry, Sam, go on.
That's it, JP Oliveira there having a great battle with Gamu in the Leon Mercedes. That Leon car is on a battle for recovery up the field. 5th position, could become 4th. Look at this battle. Oliveira now trying to break the toe down the start-finish line. Can't do that too many times, otherwise he'll be morally hazardous.
The thing that I was going to say, Sam, was what makes this championship special is that even looking at this battle we're looking at now in GT300, that's JP Oliveira, professional racing driver, racing Gamu, our 2018 GT300 champion. These are top-level drivers in the second tier, racing door-to-door in the same race that we've seen the GT500 action in. It really is good. You know, despite it being the slightly slower category within Super GT, the quality is there in spades. You know, there's heaps of it.
I hope those people who run the DTM Championship and wondering what new rulebook to adopt for that series are watching this, because GT300 is the rule set DTM needs.
And I couldn't agree more, dude. Couldn't agree more. What's nice to see is that the marshals and corner workers during that last safety car period have been out and cleared, I could say, a good 80 or 90% of the big bits of rubber off the racing line. So there's a lot less debris for the drivers to worry about in the last 20 laps of the race.
Yeah, but there are still 2 Lamborghinis in this race.
This is true.
This battle between JP Oliveira and Gamu, both in GT3 specification cars, one made in Japan, one made in Europe. And they're getting laps done on backmarking GT300 cars. This multi-class racing is really one of the things that makes Super GT quite so super as well, because it does mean that there are drivers of differing abilities, privateer teams, guys who are just out there for fun, and then you've got top professionals like JP, who is about to be passed by Gamu into the first corner. This could get quite spicy, because I'm not sure he's going to give up on this easily. And he doesn't make touch.
I'd run him wide as well. I was going to say I do exactly the same, but Gamu, he's held it. I really thought he was going to back out of it, but he just slotted in behind. That's the Evolution edition of the AMG, new car for this year, slightly wider, more guppy-like air intake on the front than the previous model.
Have you driven the new one yet, Rob?
No, I haven't. No, I've been on gardening leave lately, Sam. There's been this sort of global pandemic going around, which has been slightly troublesome for self-employed racing drivers.
Well, for self-employed racing, talking about people like me,
yeah.
I've been watching the Legends Trophy on the race, watching people like Fernando Alonso doing battle with Jenson Button, Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel. I don't know where you go. Or are you not a legend?
No, I'm a legend in my mummy's eyes, but that's about it, I'm afraid.
Cornwall's second favourite race.
And hopefully yours, Sam, as well.
Always, Rob, always. Makino, 3rd position. Ishura, 4th. Shosuboi in 5th. About to embark on a rather large battle, I suspect. Makino looking like he's somewhat slower than the Zenith Surumo Supra, just behind him in 4th position. And Shosuboi in the new Wacos Supra, looking like he might be quickest of the trio. Behind them, the first of the Nissans in the distance, 8th position. Things are not going to be happy in Yokohama tomorrow.
You're right, Shosuboi's body language in that pink and blue car, the 3rd of the trio we're looking at, looks really aggressive. He's a proper quick kid. And yeah, a point to prove, a career to be forged in Super GT. And yeah, all eyes on the third of those 3 cars.
And that is Wacos team rookie. It's about bringing on the young drivers, and Shosuboi is that young driver the team is trying to bring on. He's got a great future. I wouldn't be shocked to see him at Le Mans in the not too distant future.
And partnering him with the 2019 champion, Ashima, he's going to learn so much from him, not only in terms of the technical stuff, but just in terms of how to handle a race weekend from a Super GT perspective. Bringing the tyres up to temperature. There's so much you can get from a slightly more experienced teammate, and Shosuboi, right place, right time, and yeah, on the move here today, hopefully.
And if you're enjoying watching these drivers, they will all be in action in Super Formula coming up at the end of August here on The Race. So if you want to see that, hit like and subscribe and we'll send it straight to you. That Honda is losing time, you know, that Makino is beginning to fall back and back. Front engines, NSX, it's a very strong car still, but these new Supras are looking very strong indeed. The engineering efforts at TRD have been great, perhaps greater than the engineering efforts at Yokohama from Nissan, and that Motorsport GTR is sliding around an awful lot.
I think it's sliding around, Sam, because it's missing a large chunk of aerodynamic assistance from that left front corner. We saw that snap off when he came together with the GT300 GTR that caused the last safety car.
And look at the amount of time he's lost since being passed by the Wedsport car there. As the Ray Brigade SX is passed around, and they've spun around the GT300 car, but ignore that. Let's watch this battle because it's really kicked off as we expected it to. The Zensarumo is right on the back of the Ray Brigade NSX, and the Wacos car is on the back of the pair of them. I think they scared that GT300 car off the track, frankly.
Makino holding advantage through the second sector, as we suggested a couple of laps ago. Shosuboi looking very racy. Is he going to look down the inside as they come down to turn 10? The Zen car goes defensive, prevents an overtake there. Too tight here for an overtake. Just got to follow line astern.
So as they come up to the start and finish line at the end of the final sector, I think you're going to see them all drafting each other. Keep an eye on Shosuboi in the blue Wacos car, the third car in this train, 5th position overall. He will try and get... No, he's not going to wait that long. He's going up the inside, and he's got it done very easily.
Really, really good move. It did leave him open for a counter-attack on the front straight here, but Shosuboi showing exactly what he's made of there, saw half a gap and went for it. And once again, who's going to be braver onto the brakes into turn 1? They both ease towards the centre of the circuit. GT300 cars coming into the mix as well. And Shosuboi through, moves up the place.
For how long? The GT300 cars have opened up, didn't fall well for the Zensarumo car. One of the real challenges of Super GT is managing that traffic. They have, well, managed it, but it's opened up this battle a little bit because the two Supras battling each other has allowed the Honda a little bit of relief. But now the Honda's found 2 GT300 cars, the Aston Martin, and it was about to be thrown straight back into the clutches of the 2 Toyotas. And we end up watching the Motorsport GTR being passed by the Mugen Honda NSX, the Red Bull car. Red Bull getting seriously involved in Super GT this season. That sponsorship moving from the Keeper Tom's car, but we've got that battle now. The Ray Brigade NSX, you've got Shosuboi all over the back of it, but keep an eye on that Surumo car. He's just lost a bit of time because of that orange Mercedes, but not too much going around the outside. Shosuboi coming through the final sector. We've seen him make this move before. The door is going to be kept closed by Makino, and he's going around the outside. That's not going to work.
Did you see? He sent a little dummy. Shosuboi going offensive very, very early.
I think they touched wheels on the straight there, Rob.
They were mighty close, Samuel, mighty close. The Honda having a slight straight line advantage, but the Zen car gets a double draft. Has he made it all the way around the outside? GT300 is in the mix.
Oh, that's brilliant racing. the Zen Tsurumo driver has clearly been watching NASCAR during lockdown, and he's still trying to get up the inside of the Raybridge car. He's got that done neatly, but he's left the door open for a counter attack. Side by side, that was good.
Wow. So Sho Suboi up into third position then. So very quickly, as we suggested, moving from P5 through 4 up into third position. And a real good showing today from the new Toyota Supras, and slightly disappointing from Makino there in the Raybrig NSX, the blue car we see there. Remember, they were fastest in the pre-season testing, and the NSX has been mighty here in the practice sessions as well.
But a fast lap time is not enough. You've just got to keep your tyres going, as the Nismo team have bought in at the Motul Ortec GTR, and there's a lot of attention going on the rear. I think that's the end of the day for the number 23 Nissan. It was struggling and things have been a bit dismal. Yeah, there's the engine cover coming, well, not the engine cover, the rear deck cover coming off. Engine cover's of course front.
I'm sure news of why the Motul Ortec car has retired will be announced later on the-race.com. So head to the-race.com for all the best motorsport coverage. Really fantastic, in-depth, intelligently well-written content of all things, both 4 wheels and 2 wheels, Formula 1, Formula E, IndyCar, whatever they are, and MotoGP, as well as the Super GT Championship.
I was just a point for you, Rob. You're seeing the positions on your screen at the moment. GT300, remember that? Well, the battle's still going.
It's just ace, isn't it? I've properly missed this, Sam. It's really, really great to be back. I can't remember the last time I sat in my office from 6 o'clock in the morning till whatever time it is now. It feels like about 8:30 with a massive grin on my face. And, you know, look at them, look. They're 3 abreast. We've been at it an hour and a half.
JP Oliveira is still battling with Gamu, and this is absolutely wonderful racing. I've been catching up with my friend Genyu, who is watching us from Germany, and he's telling me that Naoki Hattori, the race director, has delayed the introduction of the full course yellow system because they want to make sure it can only be implemented in a fair manner. And there's also, on some of the cars, you don't see it now, in later races we'll have a position indicator system in the windscreens of the cars, but it's not working today for some reason. Don't know why.
Okay. Interesting to see. We had a glimpse there of the White Craft Sport Motul NSX there in the middle of our screens. Haven't seen much of him today. That's Katsumatsu Chiyo at the wheel. And I've been thinking lately, Sam, as well, where's Jann? You know, Jann Mardenborough, our local hero. We haven't seen a lot of him today. Where's he at?
Well, there's his garage and there's his chair, and he's not sitting in it. There's the team boss, Masahiko Kondo, and he doesn't look like he's about to burst into song. But we'll be interested to find out how Jann's getting on. I'm sure we'll hear from him after the race. He's running, of course, in that GTR on Yokohama tyres, and all of those tyre failures we saw earlier in the race were on the Yokohama rubber. RJ O'Connell pointing that out. Yeah, RJ O'Connell's just been messaging.
RJ. Right.
RJ O'Connell from Super GT World and Daily Sports Car. Probably at the moment the leading written journalist in the English language for Super GT stuff.
I would completely agree with you, Sam. Completely agree. RJ O'Connell's content, superb on Daily Sports Car. I've really enjoyed reading that, as I know many, many fans of Super GT have.
I was trying to find out what the drive-through penalty was for the 55 Honda early in the race in GT300. That was due to some sort of rules violation at the restart. Not quite sure whether he set off too early or something like that, but that's what that was, to answer a question that came from James Rossiter, who is a young man from Monaco, I believe. There is
He's not that young.
Yeah. There is your GT300 race leader, the Green Brave GL Supra, followed in some close company by the Gainer GTR, but not close enough for them to be battling.
The top 5 in GT300, Sam, considering we've got 11 laps left, are covered by 5 seconds. So a reasonable battle.
it's going to kick
brilliant
off.
Show from the sorry, Sam. Brilliant show from the new Supra V8 GT300 car. We knew it had pace, but touch wood, he says, touching wood. Good race pace and good race longevity as well.
If you could see Rob, he's just touched his head when he said that. It's the GT300 battle here. I mean, between Oliveira and Gamu, the director keeps cutting away from it. We'll watch GT500 for a bit, and it's almost like a constant now that you've got these two just scrapping with each other. And the scrap has now been joined by, they've got a new friend there, the Max Sayakan car, the number 5 Team Mac car, the Speed Racer tribute car, which I really like. That is one of the carbon fiber chassis GT86s, as we see a change of position in GT500. That is one of the carbon fiber chassis mother chassis cars. It's got a GTA supplied V8 engine. There are discussions going on at GTA, the governing body of Super GT, about a new iteration of mother chassis and a new iteration of mother chassis engine. So I think in 2021, we could be seeing a whole load of new GT300 mother chassis cars and a whole bunch of new models. And I've heard some rumours, but I'm not going to repeat them quite yet because I'm not sure they're true or not. But there are some really exciting cars to come if one of them's true. One of the suggestions I have heard that I can repeat is the Toyota Mirai may be appearing in GT300.
And the mother chassis cars, Sam, have genuinely added to what makes Super GT special. That variety within the GT300 field. Look at this, you know, two distinctly different types of car, but battling on a level playing field.
Indeed, with a GT500 going around the outside of them. That car was the one that got biffed at the start, so he's got back going. We didn't really talk about them getting back out on track. So, but going around the outside, or trying to, of the GT86, but not making it work, was JP Oliveira. But that's opened the door for Gamu to get alongside him. JP is not a hard man, not an easy man to get past, and he wasn't easy to get past there, but he's got to be thoroughly fed up with that black Mercedes by now. 10 laps to go on the race in round 1 of Super GT.
And we were commentating on this battle, what, like 10 laps ago? So these two have literally had like an indoor kart circuit nose-to-tail battle now for the last 20 minutes.
And now JP again trying to break the toe of the Mercedes and failing. And he's always moving the car around a lot on the start-finish straight. The organisers won't like that. Though the Leon Mercedes isn't close enough, but he has got now a slingshot. He's got that toe down the back stretch, and JP moving again. Oh, I think there's going to be some conversations about that after the race.
Yeah, the letter of the law, Sam, the letter of the law says you're allowed to make one change of direction on a straight to defend your position. And it's very clear, and I'm afraid JP went first right, then left there on the front straight, and that is deemed potentially morally hazardous, I would suggest.
Yeah, and you don't want to get a moral hazard penalty, because if you do, it gets points on your licence, and to be honest, who wants the shame of a moral hazard on their life?
No one, Sam. 10 laps to go there. That's our GT300 race leader. I'm not a betting man, but, you know, if I had money, I'd have put some on him.
Absolutely. This Keeper Tom's Supra, though, it seems to be absolutely sorted, planted. The similar, prepared by exactly the same mechanics, the AU Tom's car, Sakaguchi there. That's got to be hard viewing for everybody else in GT500. This new Supra, it was unproven, it was unknown. Model change, they only manufactured a change base model to go to the completely new Supra road car, and it is working very, very well here at Fuji Speedway. But Toyota's own track, but something that is working well as well, Fuji Speedway for GT300. Look at this scrap. JP Oliveira is still moving all over the start-finish straight, and Gamu's now got a really big toe. Now, where will Oliveira place his car going into turn 1? Where will Gamu go? Up the inside or the outside?
There's no room on the inside there, Sam. He's having to go the outside. He's having to go for the long way round.
Or Beryl push him out wide. Certainly does. They both go wide.
Drives him off the road again, predictably so.
And that GTR behind them is a lap down. And still trying to get in on the action. There's the Mac Team Mac car is benefiting from this driving away. What a race! What's this?
Oh, Gamu, they're losing a place. The GTR
isn't it?
dives up the inside.
Yeah, position. I thought he was a lap down. No, he's not.
That's Ishikawa there. Maybe, yeah, busting a move on him.
I think Gamu made the same mistake I did. Didn't think to defend against that GTR. He's a lap down. No, he's not. He's racing position. And here comes the 55. Artica. The MoteGi GTR back out on track as well. So they fixed over whatever problem it was in the GT500. Yeah, there's the 55 car. That was extremely quick. Last year's champion, they already happened early in the race. Recovering from that, this is going to be a grandstand finish.
So we see the lap counter counting down 9 laps to go. Really feels good, Sam, to have our early morning, in Europe anyway, early morning Super GT coverage back on before a day of Formula 1 coverage from Hungary as well. Remember, all that will be covered, all the in-depth paddock action will be covered on the-race.com, the place to head to nowadays for behind-the-scenes coverage. But great to see genuine shoots of recovery. I think the next thing that we'll be all watching for is when the spectators will be allowed back in. Spectators currently due back at the Fuji Motor Speedway on October the 3rd, all being well. So of our 8-round championship, the first 4 rounds are going to be held behind closed doors, with round 5 penciled in to get the fans back.
Well, that's fantastic. Just talking about the Formula 1 race later on today or this evening or tomorrow, depending where you are in the world, I will definitely be reading the post-race coverage and the pre-race coverage of that from the race, the-race. My on-screen mate from another online channel, Mark Hughes, does a brilliant job, as does Scott Mitchell and the team there. They've got Ed Straw on board as well. I think Mark Hughes is at the race in Hungary, and Scott Mitchell will take over for the next group of races in Formula 1. They're having to take quite a lot of coronavirus restrictions, as are Super GT. But something that Super GT probably didn't expect, and no one really expected coming into this race at Toyota's own Fuji Speedway, is a Toyota 123. But look at that, the second position Waycross Supra is homing in on the back of the AU Tom Supra.
Yeah, Toyota's currently 1, 2, 3, 4. I wonder if they've played a very canny game in pre-season testing, Sam. Everybody was talking about the slippery Honda, the pace of the Honda, and where have they been today? Nowhere, really. This has been a crushingly dominant performance from Toyota, and particularly the Tom's Toyota.
I think the first person to race a Toyota Supra in GT500 was Jeff Krosnoff back in the early days of JGTC, and that was when it wasn't even called GT500. The class was called GT1. As we go back to the eternal GT300 battle, because that's how long it's been going on for. JP Oliveira at the front of the pack now, but he has got a lot of company back there, battling for 4th position. And you can see the Mach 5 car disappearing slightly ahead of this battle. And you can see him battling actually with the Teddy Bear BMW. So this battle is going to be a big train of GT300 cars all in one go.
With last year's champion now tagging on the back there in the Arta NSX, and they certainly have pace. Really is the cork in the bottle now at the front, the little 86 there. So 7 laps to go now. 7 laps, Sam. Look at
7
this.
laps
It's like,
to go,
it's like the Formula Ford Festival.
Except much faster. I wouldn't say more exciting, because the level of excitement of motor racing, Formula Ford Festival is about the most exciting race there is, apart from Super GT, because look at this, the order is still shuffling. There is your GT300 race leader. We've sort of forgotten about the brilliant performance of the Green Brave car, because here's the battle for second, all of them.
All of them. That lot. The green car's leading and they're second. All to play for, 6 to go.
Yeah, it really much. And of course, we're not seeing it, but there is that compression of the field at the front of the GT500 field. The Wacos car, the Wacos Supra, was homing in on the back of the Toms car. Now, that is from Tsurumo and Toms have a long-standing rivalry going back to JGTC. So it's really, really interesting.
That bad GT300 battle now coming through that bottom sector. Car's still running a little bit wide there, coming into Dunlop corner, a little bit hot there at turn 10, but JP Oliveira still doing what he can do in the middle of that pack.
I love the sound of these cars. I was just listening to them, soaking it in a little bit. Isn't it good to be back, Rob? Look at this battle. This is the battle second on the screen. You can see the gap coming down massively. We are going to get a big battle for second. And first position isn't that much further up the road. This is not done yet.
It's not done yet. And remember, any tiny little error in traffic is still going to prove hugely costly. You know, that pack of GT300 cars is still a pack of GT300 cars. Look here, the GT500s have still got to get through there, and they are now less than a second apart.
I mean, this evening I've got to drive through the Dartford Tunnel, and I think it'll be less stress going through the Dartford Tunnel. There will be on a Sunday night than there will be going through this traffic. This is absolutely massive traffic. Round Fuji Speedway, and look at those GT500 cars cutting through these GT3 and GT300 cars. They are really needing to do this well, because make us any slight catch a GT300 car on the apex, as you've just seen, because the Wacos car now right on the tail of the AU Toms GTR. Nick Cassidy gets past the not Nick Cassidy, his teammate, sorry, getting past. But look, the Mach 5 car slices in front of Sho Suboi in the Wacos car. Sakaguchi gets the benefit of that, but then runs a little bit deep into the next corner. Suboi still on his tail. Woo.
Wow, that was hairy, wasn't it? Really hairy stuff.
And of course, that
Sho Suboi is closing up though, Sam. Certainly. We've seen the gap on the timing screens coming down and down and down, and yeah, it's now down to what, 3-4 car lengths. Not this battle, a battle ahead of it.
Yeah, the Zen Tsurumo car was trying to get past these two drafting GTRs, who they're having a great battle as well. There's also that battle in front. Here's the Mach 5 car holding up the Zen car as well, but the JP Oliveira now getting past Ishikawa. Is he the Leon Mercedes? Gamu coming to have a look as well. They're not done. And there is the battle between the Raidring NSX now being passed by the Zard Supra. This really is turning into Toyota's big day out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the new Supras. That's all of them. There's just one more Supra that is in that pack. What a performance. 4 to go.
Question just popping up on the chat. What's the fluttering noise on the overrun? I presume that's anti-lag, Sam, is it not?
The anti-lag is the poppy, cracky, bangy stuff. Yep. The fluttering noise is just the noise you hear from the turbo. Big turbochargers. Forcing all of that air into the combustion chamber, which is direct injection with pre-chamber systems. That was one of the big changes. And here is Sho Suboi. Is he going to get a toe of Sakaguchi this time round? I think he is. He's in the he's got the draft. He's going to have a go into turn 1. Absolutely. Flashing his headlights at the AU Toms car just to put him off. Oh, a bit of a gap, but he's going to come surging forwards at the end of the straight. I'm not sure he's going to get it done this time, but he's certainly going to have a try.
Big puff of brake dust there from the AU car coming into turn 1. As you said earlier, coming down from 300 kilometers an hour. The Lexus 300 car just getting in the mix there. Sho Suboi again shows him his nose coming into turn 3, Coca-Cola corner. Down into the never-ending right of 4, 5 and 6. Sho Suboi has an opportunity here to go left. No, he goes to the right-hand side. He can't go around the outside there. That's crazy behaviour.
Well, I think crazy behaviour is normal in Super GT, and let's see how the Shosuboy managed to do this. These two know each other from Super Formula, of course. They've raced together many times. They will race together on this channel all year long, and it is going to be brilliant. But we first got this battle now. Shosuboy drops back a bit there. 3 laps to go. Gathers his thoughts. He's got 3 laps to do it, get second position. Will he be able to? As JP Oliveira tries to go round the outside for second position in GT300, third position in GT300. It's hard to keep up with what's going on in that class. But then by taking that move, he's at risk of losing the position to the Gainer Tanax car behind him, the Leon Mercedes and the 55 Arta car. 3 laps to go, and I have no idea what the position, who is going to be third in GT300. What of that lot?
Wow. I'm already looking right in the back of our picture there to watch that GT300 battle come out, because yeah, Shosuboy hasn't made it work on the front straight this lap round, so that GT300 battle should be coming into our picture at any moment now. There's our leader. And there they are, here they come.
Now, keep an eye. James Rossiter has just pointed out to me as we've got a GT500 battle in the middle of the GT300 battle. That always ends well. Just at the back of that pack, having let his teammate go, the GT500 Honda go, at the back of that pack is the 55 Arta NSX. James Rossiter has just pointed out to me that that is really impressive drive for that car. They had a penalty earlier in the race for that morally hazardous incident that gave him a drive-through. Put the car to the back of the field. He's now up battling in this pack for third position. It's clearly got pace. Will it be enough to work his way through? Meanwhile, up in front in GT500, you've got these two still at it.
Sorry, Sam, I was just going to say that the safety cars have definitely helped the GT300 Arta NSX, and they're the reigning champions. So, you know, they should have very, very good race pace in comparison to the GT300 field. But the safety cars have certainly been kind. The keeper car there, though, the keeper Tom's car, a dominant performance both before and after those safety cars as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a dominant performance from Toyota all the way around. It's the final lap. I didn't even notice that had started. That is, I'm sad now. This racing has been so good. 300 kilometres just isn't enough.
Just going to say, Sam, all the races this year, 300 kilometres or less. So this is what we're going to have all season. Just frenetic action from start to finish.
I love it. This is great. So, final lap, GT300 battle. We will keep an eye on GT500 and see how that pans out. There is still a battle going on up there, but this is the best battle on track right now as the 55 Arta NSX gets inside the Leon car. He's got 1 lap to work his way back through. The Leon car, Gamu, doesn't like you, will you? Coming back side by side. Will he be able to do it? That even Honda NSX GT500 car is best advised to stay out of this one, even though it's quicker. Oyo runs wide on the exit. Will that be a morally hazard penalty? Not sure. The Leon Mercedes, they're still side by side. Are they going to stay side by side this entire lap?
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, so can they continue to be side by side at turn 5 there as our race leader, the keeper Tom's car?
Toyota wins Super GT Round 1 at Fuji Speedway. The new Toyota Supra, keeper Tom's Supra opens the copybook with the best possible victory. It's a Tom's 1-2 as the AU car crosses the line in second position. The Wacos car makes it a Supra 1-2-3 with the Tsurumo cars coming in second. In GT300, there is the Green Brave number 52 Toyota Supra winning its class. Toyota could not have hoped for a better day out at Fuji Speedway today. But the race is not done. Look at the battle. You can see it at the top of your screen behind the Green Brave Supra. There is an enormous fight going on for third position. We need to see the long shot. There it is. The cars are fanning out across the track. Who will be third? JP Oliveira in the Realize. No, it was the Max Ayaken, 86. The Gainer GTR was second. The Realize car was fourth. Gainer GTR fifth. And the Leon AMG in sixth position. Rob. Wow.
Welcome back, everybody. If you haven't seen it before, that's Super GT. It's pretty good, isn't it? What a performance there from the keeper, Tom's goal. What a performance.
Well, let's start with Toyota's performance then. I mean, they've dominated this race, actually. In both classes, brilliant performance from the new Supra. Supra Toyota's returned with the Supra 2 Super GT and JGTC before it. Absolutely couldn't have gone better. The Green Brave team getting a brilliant win. We've got a podium ceremony to come up. Stay tuned, because who knows what will happen. Formula One has robots. Super GT in a socially distanced era. I have no idea what's going to happen next. And, well, Honda, Nissan, bit of work to do. Toyota, bit of partying to do. GT300, amazing. And this is not done. We've got so much more action coming up for you on the-race.com and on this YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Stay tuned with us right now. We're going to be bringing you exclusive, live and uninterrupted coverage of Super GT all through 2020 and the Super Formula Championship, and live coverage of the MLS, what used to be the VLN series from the Nürburgring. Esports, we have the Race All-Star Series. That will be returning fairly soon. The FIA Truck Racing Championship. The VCO Cup of Nations. And so, please, hit like, hit subscribe, and get us to 3,000 likes, because our bosses say we have to get them.
I can't tell you how much we'd like you to hit like and subscribe. Sam and I, we love doing what we do, and we're constantly on thin ice for being so unprofessional. But it's been our pleasure to be talking this race for you today, for commentating on it, and wow, what a dominant performance from Toyota, as we said.
Well, I've just managed to confuse Sean Walkinshaw with James Rossiter, probably confusing both of them. It's all to do with orange cars anyway. It was Sean Walkinshaw who was asking about the 55 car, not James Rossiter. But there you go. There is the GR Supra of Green Brave. Bunch of happy mechanics. I think if your car's going to be...
Yeah, I was just going to say, Sam, that's a proper fairy story for those guys. And I really hope there's a line of people taking their Toyota Aigos in for an oil service tomorrow.
I was about to say, if I lived in Saitama Prefecture, I would be getting my car serviced by these guys on Monday morning. What a brilliant performance. And that's the amazing thing with this team, that you literally can go and get your car fixed by this lot. And
great looking racing car as well. Yeah, great looking racing car. Just watching it, watching it coming into the podium sort of section there. Really clean lines. It's an old phrase, I know, but if it looks well, it'll go well, and that certainly looks good.
And I do like that colour. I mean, they maybe got fed up of our comments about the look of the Toyota Mark X that this car replaced. That wasn't a pretty car, but the Supra is extremely pretty. And look, lots of celebrations down on the grid. They are very happy with this result. Branded face masks, good to see. They're ecstatic, aren't they?
Rightly so. Rightly so. They did a great job. They've arrived with a new car. They've been at the front end when it mattered, and the battle behind they just kept clear of. They did enough to stay out of that monster battle from second through to about sixth, wasn't it?
It was just absolutely sensational. I'm actually trying to look on the timing screen at the moment to just look at the gaps. I've got GT500 only at the moment, and that GT500 looked positively pedestrian compared to the GT300 battle, and the GT500 was an amazing battle anyway. There is your provisional results. The Tom's GR Supra wins the race. Nick Cassidy and Ryo Hirakawa ahead of Yuki Sakaguchi and Sasha Fenestras in second position. The Wacos 4CR GR Supra in third position. The Zen Supra in fourth. The Denso Kobelco Sard Supra in fifth, making it Toyota 125. First of the Hondas, sixth position. The Raybring NSX. Seventh was the Craftsports GTR. We didn't really talk about that car very much. Kohei Hirata and Katsumoto Chiyo having a good race. The Arta NSX was eighth. Ninth position was the Wed Sports Supra, the only Supra outside of the top half of the field. 10th position, the Realised Advan at GTR. Jann Mardenborough and Takaboshi having a quiet race, but not an unsuccessful one. 10th position will get them a point. The Motor Tech GTR having challenges, finished the race a lap down. the Red Bull Mugen NSX 3 laps down and the Modulo NSX GT 4 laps down. The other two GT500 cars, well, they didn't finish. In GT300, the Saitama Toyopet GB GR Super GT. Supra GT won the race, Gainer Tanax GTR second, but look at the gaps in that second pack. Then you've got the Mach 5 car, the realised Nissan Technical College GTR, the Gainer Tanax NX with Impel GTR, the Leon Pyramid AMG, the Arta NSX GT3 and the Modulo Kenwood GT3 all coming home in a lump. The Good Smile Hatsune Miku car, again, Taniguchi and Kataoka having a rather anonymous race, 9th position, and the Pacific Racing with D-Station Aston Martin in it rounded out the top 10. I am just blown away by that GT300 result, though. I mean, the sheer number of cars, and look how close. 3 different rule books, and look how close it was at the end. That is what motor racing is all about.
I'm sorry, I did them a disservice. I said it was P2 to P6 was covered by a handkerchief. It wasn't. It was P2 to P7. So that was literally a battle for second position all the way to the checkered flag.
That was in fact. I was just looking at the timing screens, and it is just average race speed of 270. Oh, that can't be right. No, I don't believe that. Top speed was 270 kph, set by that green Brave car you can see on your screen. Well, stay with us. We'll watch the podium ceremonies. We'll be hearing from Nick Cassidy in English. We'll be hearing from the other drivers in Japanese in a moment once the yellow minibus departs your screen. Oh, the Hoppy Porsche has just finished the race. Forgot about that car. Jann Mardenborough there looking at the back end of his car. And here come the post-race interviews, and we're going to hear from Nick Cassidy first of all.
2002年の開幕戦でした。まずはスタートを担当しましたニック・キャシディ選手にお聞きしたいと思います。Nick, your great, super amazing job from the start to the winning at the fastest lap. It's amazing. It's a very good job. Well done.
Thank you very much. The super is back, baby. So thank you very much to Toyota, to TRD. To win in the new car is amazing. We also won on debut with the LC500, so it's a really good feeling right now. And also for the team, in the off season, I think they've been working very hard. To come here with 1-2 is perfect.
そしてですね、今回、トヨタがこの導入した新しいスープライズパックというですね、キャッチフレーズも言ってくれました。スープラが帰ってきた。ですね、やっぱオフシーズンチーム、トヨタチーム、そしてですね、皆が頑張ってくれて、LC と同じようにですね、
he's explaining how well the Supra went in the race, and he's just translating what Nick said in a slightly long-winded way.
ないんじゃないですか。淡々と仕事をこなして、そして優勝、デビューウィン、開幕戦優勝です。おめでとうございます。
So it's a debut win for the Supra. Well done. You did a really good job. Thank you, says Ryo Hirakawa.
僕に変わってから後ろとの差が20秒以上あったので、これはもう勝ちパターンかなと思ったらやっぱセーフティーカー入るっていう場面で。
He was just saying he was when a safety car came out, he lost his lead. It was a slight disadvantage. But the Supra on its debut worked out very well. Thank you for the team.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Stay tuned. We will have the podium ceremonies, and I will translate the Green Brave team. Oh, it's an excitable goal. It's not Amy though.
Nice effort with flags though, Sam. Still got it.
That is, yeah. With the performance, they might be running out of those. Oh, she's talking about the flags. There you go. Oh, it is Amy. I didn't think she was back in Japan.
初勝利の味はいかがですか。そうですね。その前にやってたミドルホームランでもなかなか優勝するのがすごい苦しいシーズンが続いてたので、まさかこの GT のデビューで勝てると思ってなくて、本当にもう皆さんのおかげだと思います。本当にありがとうございます。
Great on the debut again. It's similar to conversation about the debut of the Supra and how great it is. Well, thank you very much.
この方、吉田選手にお話を伺います。まずはご自身、そしてチーム自身にも初優勝プレゼントとなりました。おめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
いかがですか、今のお気持ちは。
そうですね、
Thank you again.
去年ね、勝てそうで勝てない時があって、で、車種が変わって、チームメイトも変わって、チーム内でもいろんな新しいチャレンジの時に、
and they didn't expect the challenge to have gone so well for them, and it was going to be a very good result. Happy with the tyres. And it was a very good race, but the restart was a bit of a challenge, but they managed to open up the gap.
そして今画面を通して喜んでいるファンの皆さんへメッセージをお願いします。
そうですね、今まで自分のキャラって結構いろんなことやっぱやらかしてなかなか結果につなげれなかったんで、でもいろんな先輩とかファンの皆さんが最後まで応援してくれて、こういう結果につなげれたんで本当感謝してます。でこれからも引き続き応援してもらえたらなと思います。
Yeah, well,
clearly quite emotional. Clearly quite emotional.
Yes, very emotional, and he's worn out, and he said thank you at the end.
いやもう本当嬉しいですね。チームがねすごい頑張ってくれて、僕らはそれでもうベストを尽くすだけなんで、なかなかチームの頑張りが表に出ないですけど、本当にこの新しい車作って開幕戦でノートラブルで走らせるっていうことの凄さっていうのがファンの皆さんとかみんなに伝わったらなと思います。
本当に素晴らしいレースでした。開幕戦を制した52号車でした。おめでとうございました。
ありがとうございます。
She's very excited about it as well. She's more excited than he is. They are excited though. I mean, that was a great result for the team. Stay with us because we want to work out how the podium ceremony is going to work here at Fuji Speedway. There's your points order. Exactly as you'd expect. It's exactly the same as the race order. Jann Mardenborough opening his account at Fuji Speedway. Single points. A lot more to come, I suspect. Nick Cassidy and Ryo Hirakawa. WTF1 is being taken over by the man who got 1 point. Yeah, Mardenborough is taking over that social media channel. So if you want to see some Super GT behind the scenes access, head to their social media and give them a follow at WTF1. Jann also was a judge on season 2 of The World's Fastest Gamer alongside Juan Pablo Montoya. You can watch that series on the ESPN app. The winner of that series will be racing in British GT. James Baldwin will drive for Jenson Button's Team Rocket RJN team in a McLaren 720S. So we'll keep a close eye on that through the season. Well, let's have a look back at the race as it goes past. Maybe you don't get a podium here, part of the social distancing requirements, or it could just be a little bit of a recap. The race started, this race start seems so long ago, but it really wasn't.
The action just came so thick and fast, Sam. We've not had time to breathe the last couple of hours. The Calsonic car exited very, very early on after big contact in the middle of that long right-hander before the hairpin. Just folded that right rear corner up and over. The Hondas were strong initially, but then they faded.
They really did, and that was a surprise how much they faded by, but also surprising the Nissans faded. But the battles through the field in GT500 were fantastic. This long-running scrap between the AU Toms car was only beaten by the permanent fights held by the Leon period AMG. They're probably going to be disappointed with their race result, actually, but the battles they were in made for a fantastic viewing. And for me, that Leon Mercedes was the real star of the race in terms of entertainment, if not pace.
Honestly, I think the real star of this race, for me, has just been the new Toyota Supra, both in GT500 form and GT300 form. To bring a new car and to dominate with a capital D, they've done a terrific job.
Well, they really have. First ever win for the Saitama Toyopet Saitama Toyopet team, but they had to go a long way to get it. They disappeared off in the distance about that point, as did any prospects of a good result for the Red Bull Mugen Honda, which had a Yokohama tyre failure and ended up having a slow limp back, losing a lot of pace. Another car that it didn't end too well was the run-up Sports 360 Nissan GTR. Ended the race there in the middle of the track and damaged the Nissan the Motorsport GTR GT500 on the way, though I do think the red car was probably to blame for that one. Great battle in GT500 with the Tsurumo Supra making his way past the Raybrigg NSX and nearly getting the Wacos car done in the same move. It was typical of the action that we saw at the front of the field. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it was a victory for the keeper Tom's Lexus. Tifa Tom's. I nearly did it all the way through. Tifa Tom's Toyota Supra, of course. And it was also a victory, that debut victory for the Green Brave team in the Saitama Toyo Pet Supra. A car that was built, I think, with some cooperation with the APR team responsible for the Toyota Prius, but assembled and built by those garage mechanics in Saitama. Really impressive effort for them and super emotional first victory for a team that's been in Super GT for a few seasons now and really has struggled at times. And to see them get performance is really good to see. There you see the cars on the starting grid. And in theory, we should be getting to the podium. 3,000 you've hit like. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Please hit subscribe as well. We will be back on the race with Super Formula, the full Super GT season, and a lot more action as well. Don't forget to go on the race as well to get your Formula 1 coverage this afternoon. And I think they've got a couple of other series they're covering off, IndyCar from yesterday and a few other bits and bobs. Well, we're just waiting to see if we do have a podium ceremony or not. We may not, but it's not been clear, and we never do find out what happens on the podium before it happens. But there's a spectacular view of Shizuoka Prefecture.
There's still photographers down there, Sam. So
I think
there may be something about to happen. It was really touching to see where people were watching our footage from around the world, and it has been a strange time. And you can, in times like this, really feel that the crowd is missing. So wherever you're watching today, it's been great to have you with us. Stay safe and come back and see us. The next round of Super GT, our next coverage will take place on August the 9th, back here at the Fuji Speedway. As I mentioned earlier in our program, all the races this year are 300 kilometers or less. So the action will be coming at you relentlessly. We're not going to have any boring, long endurance racing. It is going to be sprint after sprint after sprint.
Yeah, and it's, you know, these 300-kilometre races are basically Grand Prix distances. I think there's one 250-kilometre race that snuck in there at Motegi. I never know why that race is 250 rather than 300. I need to find that one out, actually. But Fuji Speedway, what a great place for motor racing, and what a great racing series we've got. It's a pretty racetrack. I was sort of hoping Formula 1 might pay a visit to Fuji Speedway this year, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. It just works well, doesn't it? The layout of the track and the way the cars can pass and race each other. Have they got a drone?
I'm not sure. Banging. I'm not sure. The Fuji has got history as well. Genuine history. Remember, it opened as an oval, Sam, in 1963. I wasn't even born in 1963. It's that old.
Yes, you were. They never actually finished the oval. They built the first corner and then didn't build the rest because Sterling Moss told them to build a road course instead. So they did.
Boom. So there you go. 2 years later, in 1965, it opened as a road course. And I think most people were aware of the Fuji Motor Speedway after that epic battle in Formula 1 in 1976 between Hunt and Lauda that helped James Hunt go on to win the championship. I remember it like it was yesterday, Sam, 1976. Don't know about you.
Yeah, you were about 25 then, weren't you? Aha, we are going to get a podium. That's the podium music anyway. Right, this could be interesting. There it is, there is the podium, there are the trophies. So due to social distancing, we may not have the sake carrying ladies or anybody at the moment. We may have podium interviews too. So we're going to stay with this, stay with us, and we'll see what happens. So this opening race of the 2020 Super GT season, you're about to see the winners. So we'll be waiting. You can see the trophies for the winners. 2 trophies at least for the winners. Or we're going to see different flag techniques. So we're going to get GT300 podium first. Yes, we are. There are the Saitama Toyo Pet guys. Still looking very happy onto the top step of the podium. 2 flag technique and face masks, red Bridgestone caps. Here comes the crew from the Gainer
for a branded face mask, I think.
Yeah, I think that's pretty natty, and they've both got it. Mismatched Gainer have gone mismatched face masks. I think missed opportunity there. Quadruple flag technique there, though. That's new.
honestly, they'd lost me at their mismatched face masks.
Well, mismatched face masks as well for the third position team, and no flags whatsoever. Need to raise their game there. Yeah, I mean, you can see why the Saitama Toro Pit team won, actually, because they do have those branded face masks. Is that again a branded face mask there? Oh, and no, they pick up their own trophies here. Always beautiful trophies at Fuji Speedway. You've got
that's way better than one of those ridiculous robotic boxes, which I would definitely pick up if I got on a Formula One podium.
Fortunately, the chances of Rob getting on a Formula One podium are absolutely zero. I love the robot boxes, but I also love these Fuji Speedway trophies with the etched mountain in the background. I think they're absolutely beautiful. Yeah, second only to the Dear Bell trophy.
From Suzuka, of course.
So are they going to get spot Sake? I don't think they are.
Interesting just to see the brand of the tyre manufacturers on the cap, Sam. 3 different tyre manufacturers in the top 3 places.
That is a very good point. Michelin making their debut, of course, in Super GT, but they didn't make it onto the in GT300, but they're not making it onto the podium. It's all the usual suspect, but one of each. So there's your picture. Will be in Autosport magazine in Japan next week. It's a slightly strange podium without a chap in an orange jacket and enthusiastic ladies with sparkling beverages, and no scratch cards so far. I'd have given the scratch card to the Saitama Toro Pit team, to be honest.
Yes, definitely, 100%.
Oh, there's a mask positioning fail going on there. It should sit over the nose, not under it. So it's very polite, that the team in first. They seem very, very content and happy with it for their ride home to Tokyo on the romance car. The traffic could still be a little bit bad on the motorway back to Tokyo.
The traffic won't be as bad as it was for them for the last half an hour of the race, though.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what a conclusion. Well, now they abandoned the trophies, or are these the new ones? No, they've abandoned their trophies. Good work, guys.
Scratch card, Sam. Scratch card.
Yeah, here is the scratch card for the best performer. I'd say the race winners there, the Saitama Toro Pit team, have abandoned their trophies. Here come the GT500 winners' trophies, or second and third position trophies. And there is the winner's trophy. And there should be another winner's trophy as well from Autobacks. There it is. And, we've got a way to look at Fuji Speedway. So for you, I've never actually looked at Fuji Speedway from this end. I normally in that big building on the left when I'm at the track, or in the grandstand to the right.
We'll have to take a wander down there. That looks like a really, really good viewing position. And you don't realise how downhill that run into turn 1 is.
It really is. It's quite scary, actually. And the runoff looks massive on television. When you arrive there at 300 kph, it doesn't look like very much at all. So here we go for a Toyota. Well, it's a Toyota 125, but it's here is Nick Cassidy. You could actually hear him cheering there. He's gone for a single flag and a can of Red Bull. This is what Nick Cassidy does to send a message early in a season when he's put in a good performance. He does. Sasha Fenestraz giving a wave as well. He got applause from the comms team. Nick Cassidy drinks a can of Red Bull on the podium, makes certain energy drink manufacturer about Formula One. They really do need to give him a try. There's the little Toyota Bear. Not sure that looks like a very comfortable seating position, but nonetheless.
What have they done to him, Sam?
Giving him a rather uncomfortable seat.
My word. Don't see that every day.
Double flag
Sam, Nick pulled out his phone and I thought he was FaceTiming his mum.
No, he's tweeting us. So look at that. Nick holds the Autobacks trophy up. when his trophy is held up high. I love that, those extra trophies, I genuinely do. Take one for that. But that is one of the best trophies in motorsport.
Yeah. And joking apart, Sam, there will be some socially distanced bowing and respect tomorrow morning in the headquarters of Gazoo Racing. They're going to be delighted with this result.
I think it'd be a very polite.
Yeah.
For the Toms team, though, this is a nice evening. If the drivers are staying over tonight, which they may be or may not be, the team is based just a couple of kilometres from the track, so not far for them to go home. So they might sort of all just head off into Oshima Town or Gotemba Town and have a little bit of a celebration this evening. A well-deserved one. 500,000 yen. It's just about enough to pay for that. I'm waiting for our currency translations, but they're not appearing. So to tell you exactly how much that is, I think it's about £5,000, I'm sure. As they remain on the flags, they're probably looking for the booze. Right, Cassidy's going for his phone again. He's now describing how to watch the race on the race. His teammate.
He's probably just saying click like, click subscribe.
It's £3,718 sterling and 45 pence. In case you're wondering.
Nice. That's a very, very nice round of drinks.
19,774.78 Romanian luz, and just under 41,000 Salvadorian colons. And this is the important one: 10,667.26 Tongan Pahangas. I've never said Pahanga before.
I was impressed when you got the word colon into our commentary.
Salvadorian colon.
Oh, here we go. Are we going to do a
Here's the selfie.
No,
this will be on Instagram in about 5 seconds. I feel I should be doing a selfie with them doing the selfie in the background.
Going straight on Toyota Motorsport's account.
No, that will be on Nick's own account. Nick Cassidy is quite a ardent Instagrammer. And he's gone the wrong way off the podium. The helpful lady said go this way, they went the other way. So Nick Cassidy's got lost in the pit building at Fuji Speedway. But don't worry, if you enjoyed this, there's a lot more of it to come. The next race is on August the 9th here at Fuji Speedway again, and once again here on The Race. So don't forget to hit like and subscribe for the second race of the year. I am absolutely super enthusiastic about Super GT. So don't forget to follow the-race.com for the latest Formula One action, esports, Formula E, IndyCar, and all sorts of other good racing goodness, and some really genuinely very excellent writers like Ed Straw and
Sasha Finistraz, the Franco-Argentinian driver, did a great job, as did those guys who won the GT300 category on the debut of their new car. But the laurels went to the Keeper Tom Supra of Nick Cassidy and Ryo Hirakawa. And there you see him. Boom. So thank you very much for watching here on the-race.com. We'll look forward to seeing you at the Fuji Motor Speedway back here on August the 9th. From Sam Collins and myself, Rob Barff, we'll see you again soon. Stay safe.